Blue skies hang over a quiet Boise, Idaho on a picturesque October afternoon. But it will be anything but peaceful inside Bronco Stadium on the blue turf. Today, the Broncos fight to defend not only their home field, but their reputation as the best in the Mountain West, as the new look and full of confidence Fresno State Bulldogs come calling. In recent years, the Fresno State Bulldogs have been beaten, bullied, at times embarrassed by Fresno State, losing 10 of the last 11. But first-year head coach Tim DeRuyter says this is the perfect chance to prove that times have changed. Boise State playing host to Fresno State. Thanks for being with us, Paul Burmeister, Rod Woodson, and Anthony Herron on the field. Recent history tells us this has been much more of a series than an actual rivalry, as Boise State has won 6 in a row, including the last 2 by a combined score of 108-7. But Tim DeRuyter is convinced that times have changed, and this is a different Bulldog team.
It really is, and if anybody wants a tradition to change, it's Derek Carr, the younger brother of David Carr, who's an outstanding quarterback for Fresno State back in the day. But this guy can definitely make things happen. He has a Boise State flag in his wall at his home, and David Carr said it's a reminder that you have to beat Boise State. That's the only way you can take it down. Last year he struggled, 17 of 30, only 126 yards, 1 interception. This guy can get it done. He has some stable, some speedy receivers, some playmakers in space. If he can get it to them early, they have a shot.
He'll be up against a defense that is amazingly still very strong. Boise State lost 9 of 11 starters from last year off that defense. 6 are playing in the National Football League. It's still the top-ranked D in the Mountain West.
Yeah, Chris Peterson, the head coach for Boise State, has one thing. You have a standard of play every time you step on the football field. And this defense, first in scoring, first in passing, first total. No stars, no studs. We'll say their names. You will not know who they are, but they play well together. And they're led by a pair of tandem defensive ends that really Fresno State will see the best tandem on the field. They're fast, they're physical, they can get after you. They got to make it very uncomfortable for Derek Carr in the pocket. If they can do that, they'll keep playing like they're playing.
Yeah, this is the best home field advantage in college football since 2000, Rod, is Boise State 76-3. That includes winning 39 of the last 40. Saw a couple Bulldogs come out there, and the Boise State Broncos ready to take the blue turf. Boise State 4-1 after an opening season loss at Michigan State, bouncing back with 4 consecutive victories for Chris Peterson, the head coach. They won at home against Miami University, also winning at home against BYU, a win at New Mexico, and then last week winning at Southern Miss. Now Fresno State comes to the blue turf with a 4-2 record, including 2-0 inside the Mountain West Conference. Wins at San Diego State, also at Colorado State. The kickoff between the Fresno State Bulldogs and Chris Peterson's Boise State Broncos on the other side of this break.
He's racing the Buffaloes to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Fresno State.
And he pitches to DJ Harper, touchdown Broncos. Picturesque day here in Boise, Idaho for an excellent Mountain West Conference matchup. Fresno State at Boise State. Paul Burmeister and Rod Woodson in the booth. On the field, Anthony Herron.
Amongst all the schematic changes that Tim DeRuyter brought with him to Fresno, most notable and most effective, and of course the most notable position in that defense is safety Philip Thomas. He leads the FBS with 6 interceptions this season. He adds to that 2 sacks. 4 tackles for loss, so he's in constant motion pre-snap and
We apologize for the audio difficulties with our sideline man, Anthony Herron. We are getting ready for kickoff. Moments away here. Boise State won the toss and deferred, so Fresno State will get the football. And we'll get our early look here at Derek Carr and the Bulldog offense. Back deep, Isaiah Burse and Devon Dunn. For Fresno State, the Bulldogs entering the stadium with a 4-2 record. Getting ready to take on the Broncos, sitting at 4-1 with 4 consecutive victories. Winners of 39 of the last 40 here at Broncos Stadium. Out to the 18-yard line goes Isaiah Burse. Fresno State offense up front, led by a junior, Austin Whitworth. He started on the right side last year. He is now your starting left tackle. Out wide, Josh Harper has a groin injury. He is not playing. Victor Dean will get his first start as a Fresno State Bulldog. Fresno State offense, after years of a pro-style attack under Pat Hill, transitioning very well to the spread offense. Scoring offense just under 40 points per game. Good for number 2 in the Mountain West Conference, also 19th best nationally. Boise State defense, number 1 Mountain West Conference, scoring D and also total D. And we have a penalty marker right away.
Prior to snap, delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Not the way you expect an experienced quarterback, Derek Carr, to begin, making his 20th career start here today.
And you got to think this Boise State defense over the last 3 opponents has shut them out in the first half.
Sea of orange here at Broncos Stadium, making its presence known right away. First down and 15. Derek Carr with time and had Isaiah Burse. Left it high. It'll be second down 15. Take a look at our Wrangler starting lineups for the Boise State defense. DeMarcus Lawrence, number 8, number 1 for the Broncos, tackles for loss, and also sacks. In the middle, a couple of seniors at linebacker, and Sammy Smith, and also J.C. Percy. And the experience in the back end belongs to Jamar Taylor. He is a 3-year starter, is also 3rd on the team in tackles. Inside give to Robbie Rouse. Boise State defense is there just as he crosses the 15-yard line. Gain of 3.
And we can see that Boise State is mixing it up already. They went to a 3-man front the first down. The second time they went to a 4-man front. So they're definitely give Fresno State some different looks early.
3rd down and 12. 3rd down situation's been much better for Boise State here recently. 15 out of 31. Just under 50% converting 3rd down into first in the last 2 games. Carr again with time. Underneath to Victor Dean off his shoulder pads and nearly intercepted by defensive end Sam Ukuachu. So a 5-yard penalty, a couple of stops, and that's how the Boise State defense begins.
And my only concern for Fresno State is if they get behind early, do they get into the mindset, well, oh, here it goes again, or are they tough enough this year to come back from a deficit?
Andrew Shapiro, the 5th-year senior out of Walnut Creek, California, back to punt. Slides to his right. Places that one well. Andrew Shapiro with the punt of 44 yards and no return. Boise State offense starting lineups brought to you by Wrangler. Up front, Charles Leno, right tackle last year, now the starting left tackle, taking over for Nate Potter. He is now an Arizona Cardinal. And no Mitch Burrows. He is out with a wrist injury, the normally steady receiver for Boise State. So senior Chris Potter gets his first start in Burrows' place. First down and 10 from the 40-yard line. 6th-year senior tailback to the left of Joe Southwick is DJ Harper. Joe Southwick with time and fires down the sideline to Matt Miller. And Robert Prince told us yesterday right away, we're going to test these corners, and we saw it in the first play.
They're definitely going to test the corners. They've seen some things on tape where they think they can take advantage of this aggressive defense, because this Fresno State defense, the one thing they're going to do is give him a look one way and then come the opposite side. That's the old Pittsburgh Steeler philosophy, and that's where they got this defense from.
Second down 10, that's Chris Potter in motion, coming back across the formation, and hand off to DJ Harper. A couple of cuts before he even reaches the line of scrimmage. That's Tristan Opala-Ugo. No gain for Boise State. Fresno State defense up front. Andy Jennings, #1 for the Bulldogs in tackles for loss and also with sacks. In the middle, Travis Brown, the inside linebacker, the most experienced Bulldog either side of the football, making his 33rd career start here today. Talent at safety, Deron Smith and Philip Thomas, 1-2 on the team in tackles, and Philip Thomas leads the nation in interceptions with 6. Joe Southwick forced out of the pocket to his right and wanted Chris Potter, didn't have a chance, so a good pass rush. Donovan Lewis there forcing the early throw and the incompletion from Joe Southwick.
And this is what Fresno State philosophy on defense is to hit the quarterback at least 15 times a game. That's a standard. They want to get after the quarterback and make him uncomfortable in the pocket, and they did that with Joe Southwick on that play.
Rashad Evans, senior wide receiver for Fresno State, back to receive. A punt from Trevor Hartman from Boise State. End over end, and picked up pretty late there by Rashad Evans at the 10-yard line, and that's where the Boise State special teams there to drop him. Fresno State and Boise State both had one chance on offense early in the first. No score in Boise. Early in the first quarter here in Boise, scoreless between Fresno State and Boise State. #4 is the talented junior quarterback Derek Carr for Fresno State. Second most touchdown passes in the country with 18. Geno Smith out of West Virginia has more. Now, Derek also leads the Mountain West Conference in passing yards and touchdowns, but I think more impressively, Rod, completion percentage right under 69% and a touchdown to interception ratio of 6-1.
Yeah, quick release and accuracy was great for Derek Carr.
Keeps it himself and flips it. It's a play we've not seen on tape. To fake the inside give to Robbie Rouse and flip it outside to Rashad Evans, gain of 5.
Yeah, you see the number he's wearing. He's wearing #4, and that's his star guy that he loves. He idolized Brett Favre, and that's a Brett Favre type move right there, flipping it forward and making a play in space like that.
#4 for Boise State, Gerard Galvins for a second thought that was coming right to him. Second down 5, you see this a lot from Boise State. The quick and a big hit from Lee Hightower. As Derek Carr found Evans once again, that's a loss of 2. Good support by Hightower.
Yeah, that shook up Hightower, but that's one thing that the Boise State defense has not been doing well this year. They have not been tackling in space, and we're going to see right here, Hightower just comes up and lays the wood on him, but that knocked him out of the game for a moment.
3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 12 on the last series. Led to a punt on 4th down. Carr flushed out to his right, still with the eyes downfield. Well short of a first down had he caught it anyway. That was a tight end, Marcel Jansen. And for the second consecutive time, 2 possessions so far for Derek Carr, both ending in punting situations.
And the one thing that Boise State defense is doing, they're challenging them on the corners, talking about the corners are getting up and pressing the receivers, and that's giving really the defensive line more time to get to Derek Carr, and that really is messing their timing up. And that's one thing they've been doing well all year long, is throwing the ball on rhythm.
Andrew Shapiro's first punt was 44 yards. Penalty flag is down. We'll check and see about the penalty marker there on the 12-yard line. Goes against the Bulldogs, and we'll see now. Boise State accepts.
The formation on the kicking team, number 20, the 5-yard pass to the end of the kick, first down, Boise State.
Chris Peterson's offense is starting out with excellent field position on the second possession of the game. They went 3 and out moments ago on their first.
And the one thing that Boise State wants to do better, they want to run the ball more efficiently, and that takes the pressure off of everything. And that opens up everything. That takes the pressure off of Joe Southwick. But he is getting better, talking about Joe Southwick in the passing game. He's learning what to do and how to do it quickly.
DJ Harper is the man delivering that running game. And here's the passing game, the quick passing game. Shane Williams-Rhodes, the true freshman for Boise State, picks up 5 yards.
Yeah, a.k.a. shake and bake. This guy can make you miss in a phone booth. He's definitely an exciting player, and they're trying to get this guy to make simple plays and turn into extraordinary plays, and he has that ability.
For Boise State, the highest scoring team in the nation since 2000 at 41 points per game, 44 points per game last year, but still finding their way offensively, averaging just 26 points per game so far. Southwick with time and looking downfield. Wanted Matt Miller. Once again, that's the second time they've gone deep to the left, and the second time it's gone incomplete.
Yeah, that was outstanding. It's one thing that Fresno State wants to do is get their hands on the receivers very early, and Jones did a wonderful job of getting his hands on the receiver, not letting him get down the field. And once you can do that, Paul, you know that disrupts the timing of the passing game.
Hitting the quarterback, sometimes sacks are misleading. You don't have to actually get the quarterback to the ground to affect him.
Absolutely.
3rd down and 5 now. Southwick to his right. Couldn't find anything he liked. Lit up out of bounds by Patrick Sua, the junior linebacker. Loss of 1. And early on, Rod, it's been a defensive battle. Not too much of a surprise when you have the top 2 ranked defenses in the Mountain West Conference playing in the same field.
Yeah, and the one thing that Joe Southwick has to be very cautious of is that throwing the ball down the field, because Philip Thomas and Smith, the 2 safeties for Fresno State, they can get after the football. Philip Thomas is one of the best ball guys in the country. Everybody talks about Ed Reed in the pro ranks, but he's the Ed Reed of the college rank at this point.
Excellent special teams play by Boise State. The punt from Trevor Hartman. Down by Josh Borgman, senior from right here in Boise. A couple of zeros on the board early in the first. College football on the NBC Sports Network is presented by Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. And by Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. And by Lowe's, never stop improving. Beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Boise, Idaho. If you're not fishing, you're probably wearing orange here inside Bronco Stadium and watching Fresno State have tough field possession. 3rd possession here. They started on their own 18, their own 11, and now the worst yet from their own 4. Inside give to Robbie Rouse. Putting his head down, running hard across the 10-yard line. That's a Robbie Rouse gain of 7. Let's check in on the sideline with Anthony Herron.
That little man who just ran the football into the teeth of the Broncos defense. The coaching staff from Fresno State has talked to us about the leadership of Robbie Rouse, and I've seen it so far down here on the sidelines. Every time the Fresno State offense has come to the bench, he's been imploring his offensive line to keep up the good effort so far. He's happy with the pass protection that they provided.
Robbie Rouse to the left right now. Derek Carr in the shotgun. Gets it for the 2nd time today, and that's going to be a Fresno State 1st down. The first time this afternoon we've been able to say that as Rouse goes for 8.
That's just a speed sweep to the left-hand side, and Robbie Rouse, the all-time leading rusher for the Bulldogs, he's just going to see that cutback right there, that lane that opens up, and he has great vision. He has great feet. Yes, he's 5'7", 190 pounds. But you're going to very rarely see him go backwards because he has a forward lean when he's running the football.
There he is once again, the Fresno State offensive line doing a nice job of creasing the D-line of Boise State. There he gets 6 moments after he picked up 8. And you can expect to see him get the football a lot. He's averaging 27 touches per game, 22 carries, and also 5 receptions per game as he is the 2nd leading receiver. fourth play in a row, he has run the football right at a first down mark with a gain of 5, just enough for another Fresno State first down.
And Paul, that's what we were talking about right in the break, is that they need to give him the football. This offense runs through Robbie Rouse. If he gets going, this offense will get going.
And yes, it is a spread attack that focuses on the pass, but they're very well balanced for a spread. 52% pass coming in and 48% run. You see that playing out right now as Robbie Rouse has run 4 consecutive times. It's going to be hard to run him this time as there's an empty backfield for Derek Carr. Broncos bring 3. Derek Carr with time to his tight end Jansen, and he picks up 6.
Yeah, that's their big target at tight end, 6'6", 255 pounds. And he was a little worried when they brought this spread attack in because he was thinking spread, no tight end. They can't use me. But they still can use him because he can run and he can catch.
Second down 4 coming up for Fresno State. Robbie Rouse with another Bulldog first down. Planting his foot and get across the 45-yard line. Rouse picks up 12.
Yeah, and this is just another read option for the Fresno State Bulldogs. And I'm telling you, Robbie Rouse has great vision. He's going to see those small holes, and he's a small back, so the safety and the linebackers can't see him until he hits the hole, and by then it's too late.
Over 100 yards rushing in 5 out of 6 games this season. Got the hot hand on this drive, though he is stuffed up the middle there. J.C. Percy there, no gain. Mike Atkinson from his defensive line position also in on that play.
And the challenge for Boise, their defense, is that they have not tackled well in space in their first 5 games. And it's going to be critical for them to tackle these playmakers that Fresno State has in space on first contact.
Just saw Mike Atkinson, number 9. He was a playmaker against BYU, scoring the only touchdown of the game for Boise State in a winning effort with a pick 6. Second down 10.
False start, number 72. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
We mentioned Mike Atkinson scoring a touchdown from his defensive line position against BYU. Well, here's the actual proof from his defensive tackle position. Comes up with the pick and also the sprint in. And I think Rod, who knows a little something about a pick 6, noticed a high step here at the end.
Yeah, watch that kick. He used to be a fullback. He was like 340 pounds in high school. He was a fullback. Outstanding run for a big guy.
Robbie Rouse remains the tailback here on second down 15. Rouse has it, and DeMarcus Lawrence there just after Derek Carr handed him the football. No gain. Dave Schramm, the offensive coordinator for Boise State, telling us, hey, number 8, which is DeMarcus Lawrence, he can play anywhere in the country.
Yeah, 3.5 sacks already. Outstanding ability to get to the quarterback. And it's going to be critical that both the defensive ends get pressure on Carr and make him move out of the pocket and collapse when he's handing the ball off to Robbie Rouse to make that tackle for a loss like that.
Third down and 15 coming up now for Derek Carr. Carr with time, sees nothing he likes, flushed out to the right. And that's excellent coverage by Boise State. They dropped 7, and those 7 did a good job.
Yeah, Pete Kwiatkowski, the defense coordinator for Boise, has done an outstanding job of giving different coverages, and nobody's open. Smart thing to do sometimes, just to live for another down. And Derek Carr definitely just ran out of bounds and said, you know, all my guys are covered. Let me run out of the pocket. Let me throw this ball away or just take it into work. I mean, there's no gain. Outstanding, good decision by Derek Carr.
Punt coming from Andy Shapiro. Left foot's it out there. And that's Chris Potter for Boise State. 36-yard punt, 9-yard return. Defensive struggle continues. So on a perfect day here in Boise, Idaho, we are scoreless. Let's take a look at our Coors Light cold hard facts. And the bottom line in this series, it has been owned by Boise State. They've won 10 of the last 11, including 6 in a row. And these games haven't even been close, Ron.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm a little concerned about Fresno State. If Boise can get up early with a 14-0 lead, do they go back to that mode of saying, oh, here it goes again, same old, same old. But I don't think they will. This is a tough, gritty football team, talking about the Bulldogs for Fresno State.
Tim DeRuiter wondering out loud with us this week about the residual effect that might have the fact that Boise State has done so well in this series. DJ Harper off the left side for a gain of 4. And residual effect, Rod, it can take on form in 2 different ways. Number one, it can motivate the team to really get back and right the wrongs. But as you mentioned, it can also lead to a lack of confidence. We've seen this before. Here we go again.
Yeah, you come out with all the confidence in the world, and then once they get in the end zone and get up again, you go, ah, well, here it goes again. I don't think that's going to happen with this football team.
Nobody in the end zone yet. Scoreless. Under 6 minutes left in the first quarter. 2nd down 6. Southwick with time. Looking for Burks. Aaron Burks did catch that football the 2nd time. Gain of 25.
That was a great catch by Burks, but I think they're hurrying up because they don't know if he really caught the ball, and that's what you do as an offense. You hurry up and snap a play. They're not going to let him snap that play.
They're going to take another look at this upstairs.
And I couldn't really tell if he caught that or not.
Previous ruling on the field of a completed pass is under further review.
We saw a couple things play out here, Rod. Number one, Aaron Burks. We were told by offensive coordinator Robert Prince back in August, if this offense is going to click, we've got to have a deep guy, and the deep guy has got to be Aaron Burks. And we also saw that Joe Southwick, his accuracy wasn't quite up to par, and that's something that's been worried about here in this town.
Yeah, but this is a, they ruled this a catch on the field, so it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn that. And I haven't seen anything yet to overturn it. But yes, Burke is a big play receiver for this football team. They don't go vertical a lot, but when they do, they're going to go to Burke.
Guys, when we think about the way this Boise offense has operated throughout the season so far, the missing link has been the consistency at the quarterback position. And that play was another example of Aaron Burks being open downfield. And he's really the fastest wide receiver, the biggest big play threat that they have for a downtown opportunity in the passing game. And he's been the guy who Joe Southwick has missed on a number of occasions when he's been open downfield this season.
Yeah, I don't think that was a catch. But on that last replay, it looked like the ball hit very tip.
Field stands. First down.
Oh, what do I know? I need glasses anyway, Paul.
That's why you're wearing them, right? So 25 yards, Joe Southwick to Aaron Burks.
Yeah, that was a great catch. The ball was going to the ground. He put his hands underneath it and bounced up into his chest. Outstanding big play for the Broncos.
Burks now has 7 catches this season. He had 6 total the last 2 years. DJ Harper dropped right away. That's a loss of 1. Tackle made by Travis Brown from his linebacker position.
A big-time play by the Fresno State Bulldogs.
Defense number 92. Hands to the face. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Number 92 is the nose tackle, the sophomore out of Scottsdale, Arizona, Tyler Davison.
Yeah, right in the middle. He just hands slip up and get him to the face mask of the offensive lineman. But those type of plays happen. You can't get mad at your players for being aggressive at the point of attack.
So 25-yard completion from Joe Southwick to Aaron Burks, and then a 15-yard penalty. And just like that, the Broncos 1st and 10 from the Fresno State 23. DJ Harper with the reverse. Looking to pass is Chris Potter. And he completes it to Joe Southwick. Now, Chris Potter getting the start today for the injured Mitch Burrows. He was the backup quarterback to Jimmy Clausen at Oaks Christian High School. So he is familiar to looking downfield and firing a strike.
And I tell you one, Robert Prince over the last several weeks, I think last week he called his best game as a coordinator for the Broncos, but I think he's been very creative. He's helped his football team to bring out some creativity, just like that last play right there.
DJ Harper cuts it back, but the Fresno State defense there in force, no gain.
Yeah, the one thing they like to say, population around the football. That's the Fresno State defense. They like the population. I mean, everybody get to the ball, put hats on them, take a shot, don't be worried about missing a tackle because your guys, your teammates are going to be there for you, and they're going to have population week or play in and play out around the football against this Bronco offense.
3rd down and 5. Fresno State defense, #1 3rd down defense in the Mountain West Conference, allowing conversions only 32% of the time. Southwick finds his man there, DJ Harper, and DJ Harper just enough for a Bronco 1st down, gain of 6.
Yeah, that was just a flood right to the right-hand side of Joe Southwick, and you get 3 guys in one area, and you only have 2 defenders, you outflank them, and you can't cover them all. So Joe Southwick did a wonderful job of finding the open guy, and Harper getting the 1st down.
Boise State 16 out of 24 scoring in the red zone. That includes 10 touchdowns. This is DJ Harper right up the middle. And that once again is the Fresno State defense holding to just a gain of 2.
And it's critical that somehow Boise State gets this running game going. That's going to take so much pressure off of Joe Southwick of making those big plays down the field, even though I think he has to make 4 or 5 plays, splash plays down the field with his receivers, but this running game has to take the pressure off of Joe.
Not doing so up to this point. DJ Harper 5 carries for only 5 yards. This is 2nd down and 9. Play action, Southwick with time to the end zone. Putting it right on his man, Geraldo Boldevine. Touchdown, Boise State.
Yeah, Boldevine did an outstanding job of running a great route, really just going back outside and getting Jones turned around. Southwick threw a long ball, but an accurate ball for a touchdown.
No reason to worry about the accuracy of Joe Southwick right there. His coach is telling us yesterday it's gotten better every single game, and fired a strike on a difficult throw, as Rod pointed out, all the way across the field to Geraldo Boldevine. Well, Boldevine certainly likes playing against the Fresno State Bulldogs. 2 touchdowns against them last year, and now 1. First score of the game, and Boise State by 7. Wednesday night, the NBC Sports Network takes you inside the NFL's biggest stories and most critical moments. It's NFL Turning Point with Dan Patrick at a new time, Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Here on the blue turf, thousands in orange just watching Joe Southwick fire a strike to Geraldo Boldevine, the first touchdown of the game. 3:01 left, Broncos by 7.
And here's the concern, they're behind. Now, can this football team overcome being behind, or do they go into the tank of saying, here it goes again, they scored first, they score often, and we can't come back from it?
Just saw defensive coordinator Nick Toth on the sideline communicating with his defense. This is Isaiah Burst from the goal line. Out to the 19-yard line, tackle made by Darian Thompson.
And Paul, we've spoken to Robert Prince, the offensive coordinator of the Broncos, quite a bit this season about where Joe Southwick needs to continue improving. And the main thing he's talked about is anticipation and location of the football. Geraldo Boldevine, he's got some decent coverage on it from L.J. Jones, but the fact that he locates that football over the outside shoulder where it's away from the defender, that's where Joe Southwick continues to improve as a quarterback.
1st and 10 from the 20 for Derek Carr, and no surprise to see the Boise State defense pitching a shutout. They've not allowed a first quarter point since the opening game at Michigan State. Robbie Rouse off the right side. Jeremy Ioane up to make the tackle. J.C. Percy also there. That's a gain of 4.
And I would like to see Fresno State take some shots down the field with these dynamic playmakers, because they have some receivers that can make plays down the field for them.
Robbie Rouse now with 9 carries for 44 yards. There's carry number 10, and down he goes. Jamar Taylor, the corner in, also the big nose tackle, Mike Atkinson. Lost it 2.
Yeah, you're looking at a Boise State defense that's just swarming to the football. Like we said earlier, no stars, no studs. They just play football together. That's why they're so good. The reason they're 4-1, This defense has led him to be 4-1 at this point.
3rd down and 8, obvious passing situation. That's just fine with the Boise State D, #1 Mountain West Conference in pass efficiency defense. They bring 4, and they get to 4 with 4. DeMarcus Lawrence is there. Ricky Chongachu in on the sack, a loss of 5.
I mean, he had nowhere to throw the football again. And Derek Carr has to have that internal clock. He's a wily vet. He has to understand after 3 seconds, I got to either get out of the pocket or throw the ball away. And that time he held onto the ball for a sack for Boise State.
I spoke to Dave Schramm shortly before the game, and he talked about Derek Carr having a tendency at times to hold the football. Needs to get rid of it quicker.
Telling us yesterday, Anthony, the key to this game was Derek Carr not holding the football, so that thought's certainly on the mind of offensive coordinator Dave Schramm. Punt of 46 with no return. There's Dave Schramm with Derek Carr right now. Wednesday night, Major League Soccer is on the NBC Sports Network. 3 crucial points will be on the line when Seattle continues its playoff push at home against Real Salt Lake. Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Joe Southwick coming on after the last possession ended in the end zone. A perfect pass to Geraldo Boldewine. 1:07 left. Chris Peterson's Broncos on top by 7. This is DJ Harper. Almost sprang free. As it stands, a gain of 11, and Boise State will take that 1st down.
Yeah, this is the type of running plays that the Boise State offense wants. They need this running game to get going to take pressure off of everything else for this Boise offense. And we see right there where Harper, the outstanding block by Miller, the receiver, but they need that running game to get going to help out Joe Southwick in his offense.
1st down and 10 from the 48. DJ Harper now 6 carries for just 16 yards. That was his best play so far. Freshman tailback Jay Ajayi in for the first time. He picks up 4 yards.
Yeah, I love when Dan Paul comes in. He's a big fullback from Boise State. His nickname is Duranimo. He just likes hitting defensive players.
Jay Ajayi, the freshman out of Plano, Texas, getting a lot more playing time here recently. 16 carries for 165 yards on the season. He went for a 71-yard touchdown run at New Mexico a couple of weeks ago. Final seconds of the 1st quarter ticking down here. We saw Joe Southwick on one sideline. 1st-year head coach for Fresno State, Tim DeRuyter, watching a defensive battle here in the 1st quarter. Boise State, the only team to find the end zone. Joe Southwick with a strike to Geraldo Boldewine. We enter quarter number 2 on the blue turf with the Broncos on top by 7. We are set to start the 2nd quarter here in the blue turf at Broncos Stadium. Boise State on top 7-0. The points have not come nearly as easily for Chris Peterson's Broncos this year. They've been in the top 5 in the nation in scoring offense the last 3 years. That includes 44 points per game last year. Finding a different way to win this year at 4-1 as they're only averaging 26 points per game. But as the points have been hard, Rod, they've been taking care of the football. Number 5 in the nation in sacks allowed, and Joe Southwick has only thrown 3 interceptions.
And their defense is pretty good.
I'd say real good. Top ranked in the Mountain West Conference. Nice defense right there by the Fresno State Bulldogs. That's a loss of 1.
Yeah, you see the pressure coming from the left-hand side and just running down. Harper from the backside can't find that open gap.
Third down 7. Boise State right now converting just 1 out of 3 in the 1st quarter. And credit that to the Fresno State rush. Rushing the pass. And intercepted by the Bulldogs. That's Sean Alston, the corner, with the INT.
The flag.
And guys, it looks like this one's going to come back for a call that I completely disagree with. Andy Jennings, right from the defensive end position, just cleans the clock of the quarterback, Joe Southwick, in the pocket.
First down.
Great play, huge turn of momentum possibility there for the Fresno State defense. And from my vantage point, looking at it in live action, I just didn't think that's a valid call.
Oh, he hit him on the shoulder, really on the arm of Joe Southwick. And sometimes you got to let them play football. I understand that they really want the safety of players and quarterbacks, but on that play right there, that's not a good call.
If the estimation in a situation like that is that you think maybe he hit the quarterback high, it was not a helmet-to-helmet blow. The officials have been tasked with erring on the side of safety, so I understand where the flag came from. I just don't think it was the right call.
So the interception by Sean Alston doesn't count. 15 yards for the Broncos and 1st and 10. Rolling out to his left, Southwick fires and nowhere near Geraldo Boldevine. It'll be 2nd down and 10. We'll take another look here at the hit by Andy Jennings that cost his team 15 yards and also an interception from Sean Alston.
Andy Jennings makes a quick move inside. He's just come off a blocker that's been kind of tugging at his hips a little bit. You know, maybe I'm a biased old former defensive lineman or something like that. I just think it's too big a moment in a game to make that call.
Did lower the head a little bit and hit him high.
Still a bad call, Paul. I know you're a quarterback, so you're taking up for the quarterback, but it's okay.
Presenting both sides here. Southwick standing in, and Boldevine, not only with the catch, but the pivot, finding open space. A catch and a run, and that's 13 yards and a 1st down.
Yeah, they brought a cat blitz to the short side of the field, and that makes the safety come down to cover Boldevine, and that's just nothing but a hot read by the quarterback and receiver. Outstanding play by Joe Southwick.
Geraldo Boldevine suspended for the first 4 games, NCAA suspension, but Chris Peterson yesterday, unprompted, complimenting him on how well he worked and how much he improved those 4 weeks working on the scout team, and that he deserved the chance to play well here on Saturdays based off of how he handled that suspension. 1st down, Boise State. This is the freshman again, Jay Ajayi. Spinning and running inside the 10-yard line, gain of 14 yards.
Ajayi is one of the more heralded recruits that Boise State's brought into this program in recent years. There's a thought that maybe he would play as a true freshman last season, ended up injuring his knee in the preseason, was out for the remainder of that year. And they talked to us about the practice tempo of Jay Ajayi and not really feeling like he was all the way back early in this season. But once they finally put him in the ball game, they said this is the guy they've been waiting to see.
And we get to see him again. Jay Ajayi approaching the end zone. Inside the 1-yard line after a gain of 7.
Yeah, that's right over the right side of Ames and Myers, the 2 seniors, right guard and right tackle. And Ajayi, he's a big load. Yes, a heralded running back coming out of Texas a couple years ago. This guy is a big physical back, over 200 pounds. I mean, this guy lowers his shoulder. He's going to make the pile go the other direction. DJ
Harper struggling a little bit with only 15 yards rushing. Ajayi has 30 yards rushing. And that's an excellent tackle by Philip Thomas. Yes, he leads the nation in interceptions. Showing you right there, he can also come up to make a stop. No gain.
Philip Thomas is a all-around player. 29 tackles, 2 sacks, 6 interceptions, which is 2nd in the country. This guy is outstanding. Big guy, physical, 6'1", over 215 pounds, strong at the point of attack. The lower man in football is normally going to win the tackling position.
Reigning Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Week for his effort at Colorado State last weekend. That's Holden Huff in motion. And that's Jay Ajayi, and once again, the Fresno State defense is there. Tyler Davis in the nose guard in first. Ajayi inside the 1, but short of the goal line. It'll be 4th and less than a yard.
Well, they're bringing the field goal out. Surprise.
In a game that was similar to this just a few weeks ago when Boise State faced Utah, we saw that Chris Peterson time after time went for 4th downs without the confidence in his kicking game.
Michael Frazina, 6 for 9 on the season, but he is 5 for 5 on attempts inside the 30 yards. And he's now 6 out of 6 inside of 30 yards. That one good from 19. Joe Southwick has a touchdown pass to Geraldo Boldevine, and Michael Frazina has a 19-yard field goal. Broncos by 10. Next week, College Football Saturday kicks off at 12 Eastern with an Ivy League clash between Penn and Yale. Then at 3:30, UNLV faces Boise State right back here at Bronco Stadium. College Football Saturday on the NBC Sports Network. Fresno State coming in here at 4-2 with lots of confidence, but right now it's Boise State with an excellent defense and efficient offense, leading 10-0. The Broncos just going 62 yards on 10 plays, getting a big boost from the freshman running back Jay Ajayi. Leading rusher right now for Boise State with 30 yards. Isaiah bursts from his own 6. Broncos special teams there to make the tackle. Josh Borgman. Excellent hustle from the backside. Let's go back to October 19th, 2001. Boise State ranked number 8 at Fresno State. At number 8, Fresno State, led by David Carr, came in ranked at 8. They've knocked off Wisconsin and Colorado and Oregon State. Touchdown here, Ryan Dinwiddie to Jay Swilly. Fresno with a chance to win it late, but Carr was sacked on 4th down. The Broncos over the Bulldogs 35-30. Devontae Adams out to the 15-yard line, no gain. And that win had some major significance. Nice tackle by Jeremy Ioane for Fresno State and Boise State.
Yes, it was like the coming out party for Boise State, beating a big-time program, a ranked program, and they haven't looked back ever since. Their standard of play has been high ever since Coach Peterson has been here, and it's continuing right now.
David Carr, the quarterback then for Fresno State, the older brother of the current quarterback, number 4, Derek Carr. Rashaan Evans with a catch and a good job of cutting it back inside. That's a gain of 5.
Yeah, and really the starting field position for both teams have been on the opposite ends of the spectrum. You look at Fresno State at its own 14 and Boise State at its own 41.
Now 3rd down and 5, and 3rd down been a difference as well. Boise State defense coming up big as Fresno State just 0 out of 4 so far. Derek Carr under pressure, throwing it behind Victor Dean. Good catch, good cut back. And that's a Bulldog 1st down, gain of 7.
Yeah, not the little simple, shallow cross route by the ex-receiver and Dean, and he needs to hit him in stride, though. You got to hit that receiver in stride to get him to go back up the field. You get it behind his backside hip, he has to stop, pivot, and luckily he made the 1st down.
Dean getting the start for the injured Josh Harper. He's out with a groin injury. Derek Carr, the delayed draw inside to Robbie Rouse. Not fooled is Ricky Chongachu. Loss of 7.
Yeah, Chongachu was 5 yards in the backfield before the ball was handed off, and Robbie Rouse, as small as he is, Chongachu found him very easily.
It's going to be tough sledding inside for this Bulldog run game today. Ricky Chongachu, Mike Atkinson, not only large and in charge in the middle of the line of scrimmage, but both very nimble with the way they can penetrate.
Pete Kwiatkowski, defensive coordinator in his 14th season on the staff. Former Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year here at Boise State. Setting up the screen, Carr to Rouse. Makes Ukuachu miss. Also makes Gavins miss. Excellent individual effort by Robbie Rouse. Picks up 9 yards.
Yeah, Robbie Rouse is he's extremely hard to tackle in open space. This guy has quick feet. He's low to the ground. He's only 5'7", but when he changes direction, he leaves change for that dollar he just stepped on.
Defensive coordinator we just saw the Boise State sideline, Pete Kwiatkowski, told us yesterday, hey, number 8 cuts hard, puts his foot in the ground, and he makes people miss. 3rd down and 9.
Critical 3rd down for Fresno State.
Bulldogs just converted a 3rd down and 5 moments ago. Derek Carr to Adams, had him. He had a shot at picking up the 1st down. We'll never know if he would have made a drop pass, and it'll be 4th and 9.
And really, the pressure came back up the middle, and Chongachu, he bowled over Brammer, the center for Fresno State, and that really made Carr get out of the pocket and throw the ball a little early.
Boise State defense has been outstanding. Team hasn't scored in the 1st half the last 3 games. And Fresno State with 0 right now. This is Chris Potter. Now out to the 39-yard line. Punts of 44 yards, return from Chris Potter of 12 yards. Excellent field position once again coming for the Broncos. They lead by 10.
Say it again.
Coming up next, college hockey continues on the NBC Sports Network as Notre Dame takes on the University of Nebraska Omaha. It's the 2012 Icebreaker Tournament Final. The puck drops next on the NBC Sports Network. Here on the blue turf, 7:47 left in the second quarter. Boise State already leading 10-0. Joe Southwick back on the field with the Bronco offense from the 39-yard line. Play action and plenty of time. Southwick looking deep to Burks. Had it for a second. A late penalty marker is in. And Sean Alston has his hands up. Rod Woodson doing the same up here in our booth.
Wow, I mean, it looked like a great play to me. I mean, it looked like Sean was being held off by the receiver, but they called pass interference.
Pass interference, number 18. The defense, 15-yard penalty and automatic. First down.
Yeah, you see it right there. I mean, he's running stride and stride. He's not panicking. I just don't see the pass interference. Another call goes Boise's way.
And it looks like Alston was even aware of how close he was. He kept his hands down to avoid that call.
One thing that Tim McDonald said, the defensive back coach for Fresno State, is that they do not panic when they're behind.
Joe Southwick once again taking a shot. And there to pick it off from his safety position is Deron Smith.
Well, Deron Smith, these safeties for Fresno State can go get the football. And the one thing that Robert Prince said is that they can't, that 50-50 ball that he might throw up in the air against other teams, he cannot throw that against his football team because these safeties can cover ground and they both have great hands. You can just see it right there. He just comes out of nowhere to get the interception. Great play by Smith.
It's not only Philip Thomas, number 16, who leads the nation in picks, but 6 who has those ball skills. As you pointed out, Deron Smith can do it as well. He now has 4 interceptions
They
this
have
season.
13 on the year. By far the most in collegiate football.
Bulldogs have created more turnovers than any team in the country. They now have 19. Robbie Rouse getting across the 5-yard line, finding his way to the 7. That's a gain of 3.
You got a defensive guy as a head coach from Fresno State, and he wanted his defense here to take his mentality, to have a hard edge to him, and he really feels like the defense from the Bulldogs has that. The question is, does this Fresno State offense have that same hard edge to it as well?
Right now, not producing, only 62 total yards. Robbie Rouse picks up 2. Fresno State defense, big reason why, plus 11 turnover margin, best in the Mountain West Conference, and 19 takeaways, the very best in the country. Also number 1 with interceptions now, 13.
And they can get after a quarterback, too. They got 20 sacks in the year.
20 sacks on the season. Last year, they had 20 sacks total.
Critical third down for Fresno State. They got to convert this.
3rd down and 4 coming up, empty backfield for Derek Carr. Broncos bring only 3, flipping it out to the side to Adams. Excellent play in the football by Devontae Adams. Derek Carr recognized the one-on-one coverage, just gave him a chance. That's a gain of 27. We do have a penalty marker on the play. David Alvarez is the referee here this afternoon.
After the catch, personal foul, targeting number 10, defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty on Jeremy Ioane, but the big play by Devontae Adams leads the Mountain West Conference in receptions, receiving yards, and also touchdown receptions.
Yeah, I thought Derek Carr threw the ball a little premature, but you know, you look at Adams, who has a 42-inch vertical, went up and got that football to make a big play for a football team.
First time this afternoon, the Bulldogs have crossed midfield. Derek Carr throwing right into a blitz, and Jarrell Gavins had his hands on it. Couldn't hold on.
Yeah, Jarrell Gavins, he read that better than the receiver read it. He broke before the ball was even let go, and luckily for Fresno State, he dropped that football, but if you watch it, he breaks before the ball's even thrown. You can see it right there where he's breaking, the ball's in his hands, and luckily for him, Adams knocks the ball out of Gavin's hand.
3 wide receivers to the left of Derek Carr. Coming to his right, a wide open Victor Dean. Dean's second catch of the day goes down to the 16-yard line. That's a Bulldog gain of 32.
All the movement, all the disguise that we see from Boise pre-snap, this Fresno State staff is trusting Derek Carr to be able to make the audibles necessary. It seems like he's coming into his own on this drive.
Victor Dean stepping up, getting his first start this season for the injured Josh Harper. He now has 2 receptions for 39 yards. Empty backfield for Carr on 1st and 10. Wanted his big tight end, Marcel Jansen. Covered well by the senior linebacker, Tommy Smith.
Yeah, he just threw that ball late. He was there. That ball has to come out a step earlier. The catch will be made.
Derek Carr's Bulldogs with excellent efficiency inside the red zone so far, scoring 24 out of 27 times. That includes 19 touchdowns.
They have not allowed a passing touchdown by a quarterback this year. It was by a running back against Miami.
Derek Carr coming underneath. Victor Dean open again inside the 10-yard line, but pushed back. Jarrell Gavins. And also Dextrell Simmons. It's a gain of 7.
The variety of tempos that Fresno State's running their offense at, sometimes up-tempo, sometimes a bit of a hang huddle. It allows Derek Carr, once they send the play in from the line of scrimmage, it's not just standard freeze as Bronco Stadium comes to life down here. You don't see the quarterback looking for an audible himself. They're trusting him to make the checks and communicate it to the guys up front.
3rd down and 4. Bulldogs have to get just across the 6-yard line. Carr wants Devontae Adams, not even close to leaving that one on the field, and credit the Boise State pass rush for rushing Derek Carr that time.
Yeah, the pressure came back up the middle again, and Carr just backpedaling, throws the ball off his back to his foot. Doesn't give Adam a real chance to make a play when you throw it 5 yards out of bounds.
Dave Schramm told us there's going to be moments where there's free rushers coming through, but it's about his quarterback and his wide receivers being on the same page to still complete balls.
Quentin Brashears made his first 5 field goals this season, but he's missed 2 of his last 3. This is from 27 yards out, and he pulled it. Kick was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Wide left, 10-0 Broncos. Tim DeRuiter just watched his Bulldogs have their most successful drive of the half. Still no points, missed field goal, and 6 possessions for an offense averaging 39 points per game. Rod, 0 points.
0 points. And to me right now, this drive that Boise's at for this Fresno State defense is critical. They can't allow this team to go back down the field, eat up the clock. They got to give the football back to their offense to get some points on the board going into the locker room.
Fresno State just went 86 yards on that drive. The previous 5 drives, only 44 yards total. DJ Harper around the left side. Tyler Davison there to make the tackle, but that's a gain of 6.
Haven't seen Fresno State's defensive front moving the slants, the stunts quite as much, and they told us during the week that they may not move quite as much because they don't want to give away any initial keys, especially once Boise State is going with all the different motion packages they tend to do. But I think moving forward in the game, going to need to see Fresno State start to slant their defensive line a bit more. Of course, important that the linebackers fit properly off of it.
Injured Bulldog on the turf is L.J. Jones, a junior cornerback out of Crespi High in Los Angeles, California.
And the one concern I really have, Paul, with this football team is that they're behind, and can they keep fighting? How long a fight do you have in you to get back into this game? And it's only a 10-point lead, yes, but sometimes when you're on the sideline and you got beaten the way you've been beating over the last 5 years, or really for so long, Boise and Fresno, that you can't get it out of your mind that you're not good enough to beat this football team.
And that's that residual effect that Coach DeRuyter talked about this week, wondering what kind of toll it would take, losing 6 times in a row by a combined 206 points. And that's DJ Harper running hard for the 2nd play in a row, picking up a Boise State first down, gain of 10.
When you got a fullback leading up on you as a linebacker, you have to be precise with where you fit your hat at. You got that big 240-pound fullback in Paul leading up on Patrick Sua. If you have spill, you have to be able to trust that your teammate is going to be there to fit off of you. I see linebackers fitting in properly right now for Fresno State.
DJ Harper with 31 yards rushing. The freshman Jay Ajayi just behind him with 30. This is Harper again with a gap off the right side and another Boise State first down. Harper eventually brought down by Philip Thomas, but he picks up 15 yards and another Boise State first down.
And I think what a lot of people forget is that DJ Harper was a starting running back at Boise over Doug Martin, #1 pick for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy has the tools and the skill set to make big plays in space. That's one of the main reasons a couple years ago he was a starting running back here in Boise.
I think they paid him quite a compliment, they being the Boise State coaches, when they gave him the ball 47 times in the 2 games after the Michigan State game. And that's Joe Southwick. An athletic play, getting it out to Kirby Moore, loses his helmet. By rule, he'll have to miss this play. But that's a gain of 7. Penalty marker on the play.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 16, defense. Hit to the quarterback's head. 15-yard penalty forced from the end of the catch. First down.
Philip Thomas, guilty that time. That's the 2nd roughing the passer call this half on Fresno State.
But I have a problem with that because now you have a running back act like he's running an option. Then he gets out into space and then he throws the ball. Sooner or later, you got to let the quarterback become a running back, and he has to make a hit. You can't let him be out of the pocket, act like he's going to run the ball at the last second, throw it to run that little bubble screen.
So the rules change a little bit once he's outside the pocket, or at least
it definitely. I thought it should.
Joe Southwick gives to the freshman Jay Ajayi. Patrick Sua there to make the tackle for a loss of 1.
The thing I kind of enjoyed in talking to Fresno State's coaching staff is that they're okay with aggressive penalties. And it was a bit of a comical discussion that we had with Tim DeRuyter, Nick Toth. They want their guys, in essence, taking shots is the term they use. They're not illegal shots. They want their guys being aggressive out on the football field. And those are the types of penalties we've seen so far.
Andy Jennings had the first late hit to the quarterback. And this is another Boise State positive running play. DJ Harper with a shot at the end zone. Touchdown Broncos.
Big time play by DJ Harper in that pistol set. He comes out and does a little spin move and makes 2 defenders miss. Outstanding individual effort right here. That dipsy-do. Oh.
Breaking a tackle and having a spin move a moment later.
Yeah, Dunn has to go find out where the running back is at because he put his head down thinking he's going to make contact, and Harper said, no, not today.
What a turn of events. Fresno State finally getting some momentum offensively, going 86 yards, but then missing a field goal, no points, and coming right down the field. Strong running effort, a 15-yard late hit to the quarterback. Philip Thomas guilty. And we're taking a look now to see if he actually got into the end zone.
Yeah, the ball crossed the plane. As long as he's not stepping out of bounds, you got to remember the goal line goes around the globe. As long as it gets over, it's a touchdown.
Sean Alston there with the hit. As DJ Harper stretched into the end zone, it was called a touchdown on the field. Tim DeRuyter addressing his sideline. His team either going to be trailing 16-0 or 10-0 with the Broncos inside the 1-yard line here in a moment.
You know, and Fresno State, the last 4 games they played a top 25 team. They've allowed an average of 48 points per game.
Touchdown. Stands. Touchdown.
16-0 Broncos after the touchdown run from DJ Harper. So this is exactly the situation you talked about, Rod, in the first quarter. Fresno State confident now that let's see what happens if, and it was a big if at that point,
yes,
if they get down 10 or 17 points.
And you go back to when they played Oregon. When they played Oregon in the first half, they didn't have that confidence talking to the coaching staff. But the second half, they had it. When you play good teams like Boise State, you can't have try to find the confidence in the second half. You need to have it from the day one, or from the whistle.
Fresno's extra point is up and in. Chris Peterson has watched Geraldo Voldevine score a touchdown. Michael Fresno kick a field goal, and an impressive touchdown run moments ago from DJ Harper. Boise State 17-0. Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, Jimmy Roberts will get you caught up on all the college football scores and highlights, plus a preview of the Sunday Night Football game of the week. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers travel to take on Arian Foster, and the unbeaten Houston Texans should be a great one on Sunday Night Football tomorrow night. DJ Harper with a touchdown run, and he is getting back to his groove here after being off a little bit last week. Only had 47 yards rushing at Southern Miss. This in the previous 3 games, or after the previous 3 games, he averaged 124 rushing yards. So today, much more DJ Harper-like, 74 yards on 10 carries. Devon Dunn and Isaiah Burst back deep. This is Dunn from his own 8-yard line. Dunn with an excellent return out near the midfield stripe. David Dunn with a return of 41 yards. Let's check in with Anthony Herron.
Well, Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator for Boise State, after losing so much NFL talent last season, he's still got guys like Mike Atkinson who've been able to come back and play at a masterful level this season. He's at the nose. DeMarcus Lawrence brings it off the edge, whether you block him with 1 guy or 2. He continues to pursue the quarterback with ferocity. You want to hand off a draw play? Don't think about it. Ricky Chongachu brings it at the 3 technique. So much depth and talent returns after all the talent they lost last season.
6 players from last year's defense, Anthony, in the National Football League right now. Derek Carr with time, flushing out to his right, can keep it if he'd like, but fires, and that's a strike to Rashad Evans. Gain of 21.
And a critical drive for Fresno State. They need to get some points on the board, because you got to remember, Boise State gets the ball in the second half, and they've been scoring at will the last several possessions.
Fresno right now with 6 possessions. This is its 7th. 5 punts and a missed field goal. That includes 3 3-and-outs. So some offensive momentum and some points desperately needed here for Derek Carr. Flushed out of the pocket again, and looked like he was just throwing it away to Robbie Rouse, but he came up with it anyway.
Well, sometimes you have the competition. He caught it even though he shouldn't have.
Well, I just highlighted the playmaking ability from Boise State's D-line, but they're smart. They're crafty as well. They wanted to set up a screenplay to Robbie Rouse, but everyone from the D-line planted their foot and got back downfield like you're taught.
When it's too easy, Anthony, you know something's up, right?
You got to be physical, but you got to be crafty as well. This is a well-coached deep front.
Saw Sam Ukuachu for a moment think he had a wide-open shot at the quarterback, and he recognized the screen like you pointed out, and then ran out to find Rouse. Derek Carr off of his back foot to the end zone. In the direction of Devontae Adams, the freshman out of Palo Alto, overshoots him. And we're seeing a pattern here. Even when Derek Carr has time, he's throwing off his back foot quite a lot.
Yeah, and that tells me he doesn't trust his offensive line to keep the pressure really off from the defensive front of Boise State. And when you got a quarterback that's never really planting his feet and stepping through, he's not trusting everything. He's not trusting that he can step into the pocket and make those easy throws or easier throws down the field.
Those are the habits that quarterbacks can get into when they've been throwing under duress, as Derek Carr has a lot this season, and that's part of why it's so important for him to get the football out of his hands consistently. And Chris Peterson, he's really stressed that point with Joe Southwick, and so as many things as Joe Southwick doesn't do, as well as Kellen Moore, one of the things that he's continued is the fact that he does deliver the football on time. It's not always accurate, but that's part of why Boise State hasn't taken many sacks this season. Their offensive line isn't as dominant as it used to be, but Joe Sopwith does deliver the football on time.
As for the offense we're watching right now, Derek Carr, 12 out of 20 for a modest 113 yards. Fresno State right now 2 out of 8 converting third down situations. This is third down and 12. Boise State so far doing an excellent job of getting pressure on Derek Carr without bringing 5 or 6. That front four has been terrific.
This might be 2-down territory also, Paul.
Only rushing 3, and again, Carr flushed out of the pocket, and again forced to fire it away.
2 hands on it, Chris.
Pressure up front, yes. Good coverage in the back end, yes.
The Boise State defense is playing at a high level right now. Pressure has been constant on Derek Carr at this point, but the receivers are not getting open. Even when he's scrambling, they're just sitting on the sideline. That's too easy to cover. They got to move and make some plays for their quarterback.
Pete Kwiatkowski, defensive coordinator right there, got to be proud of the effort so far inside of a minute. And it's still 17-0. This is 4th down. Fresno State 9 out of 15 converting 4th downs, but this is 4th and 12. Carr flushed out, under pressure. Flips it, finds a way to get it to Robbie Rouse. Rouse with a nice individual effort, but still well short of a first down. We have a penalty marker on the 25-yard line. It's a gain of 6.
Personal foul, number 5 of the offense.
Number 5 is Victor Dean, sophomore wide receiver for Tim DeRuyter.
Pressure coming right up the gut. He cannot set his feet, but he makes one of those gutsy throws to Robbie Rouse, and Robbie Rouse right here, great move in the open field, but just can't get the first down.
Penalty called on Victor Dean right there. We're watching him. Freshman out of Moreno Valley, California. And Tim DeRuyter, the look on the face says it all. When your team's down 17-0.
And they're getting pressure from up the middle, from the sides. They're getting pressure on Derek Carr throughout this game, and he can't set his feet to get the balls down the field to his receivers.
Defensive line for Boise State been the stars so far to go along with DJ Harper, who has 1 touchdown run, 10 carries, and 74 yards. Chris Peterson's Broncos, led by the direction of defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski, pitching a shutout here at halftime, up 17 points.
This is 4 games in a row, Paul, that this defense has shut out the opposing offense and getting on the scoreboard. They've done an outstanding job.
And this offense is averaging 39 points per game. Anthony Herron joined by the head Bronco, Chris Peterson.
Chris, the running back position seems to be really effective, and now that you've added Jay Ajayi into it, does he add that thunder and lightning approach for you in the backfield?
Well, we like our backs. It always starts with the O-line. I think when they're doing their job, both those guys and all the backs we have can get some yards.
4th consecutive game where you've shut an opponent out in the first half on defense. How have they been so effective against Fresno?
Well, I think we're playing hard. Fresno's got explosive offenses. This is going to be 2 halves for sure. And so second half more important than the first half.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Paul, 45 games in a row. Boise State Broncos have won in the month of October. We'll see if it continues.
All right, Anthony, thank you very much. Thanks also to Chris Peterson. His Broncos on top after an impressive defensive effort here in quarters 1 and 2. Halftime score, Boise State on top 17-0. Now time to get it to Jimmy Roberts in our New York studios. Tim DeRuyter's Fresno State Bulldogs still looking to score for the first time here today. The Boise State Broncos winning on the home turf 17-0. On that turf is where we find our own Anthony Herron.
But Paul, I just spoke to Tim DeRuyter a moment ago, and talking about the defensive side of the football, he really feels like they've been in position to make some big plays. Said dumb penalties have kept his football team on the field at bad moments. On the offensive side of the football, he feels like there's been opportunities right there. They need to do a better job throwing and catching the football cleanly. Then he said, we're in position to make plays. We just got to turn upfield and run afterwards.
And Anthony mentioned the penalties there, 7 so far for Tim DeRuyter's Fresno State Bulldogs, and 1 for Fresno State. Chris Peterson's offense led by the ground game. DJ Harper 10 carries for 74 yards, and the freshman Jay Ajayi contributing 30 yards. And right now Boise State out rushing Fresno State 103-37. Fresno State kicking off to Boise State to start this third quarter. And that's DJ Harper taking it 8 yards deep, and he'll just take a knee. Fresno State has 7 penalties. You heard Anthony mention his conversation with Tim DeRuyter. He mentioned the dumb penalties. 7, only 1 for Boise State, and 2 of those penalties of the 15-yard variety, late hits to quarterback Joe Southwick. 1 from Andy Jennings and 1 from Philip Thomas.
Yeah, they talk about dumb penalties, you know, the aggression penalties they'll take, but the retaliation penalties, the penalties hitting the quarterback late, they can't happen.
First down and 10 from the 25-yard line. DJ Harper, the leading rusher in the first half. Good start to his second half. Picks up 6 yards. He now has 80 for the afternoon on 11 carries.
Yeah, and this offensive line for Boise State has really done a good job of opening up the holes for DJ Harper in this running game.
One of the understated things personnel-wise is the difference in the 2 tailbacks. Now that they've got Jay Ajayi in the lineup, you've got the quickness of DJ Harper. Your defense is ready to play that. And then all of a sudden you bring the big bruiser on the field. It's a completely different look.
DJ Harper remains the tailback. And he gets the carry again. That's Andy Jennings there in right away to throw Harper for a loss of 2.
Andy Jennings comes off to the right side untouched for an easy tackle for a loss for the Bulldogs. But this is a big third down for the Bulldogs. They need to get that ball back and give their offense an opportunity, at least a short field, to get some points on the board. Making that tackle was 88, not 98. Tristan Opala-Ugo throwing Harper for a loss of 2. On third down and 6, underneath to Matt Miller. Blockers out in front. Fresno State defense doing a nice job of closing there at the finish. L.J. Jones, the quarterback. Duron Smith, the safety. And the Broncos pick up 5 on third down and 6. The Fresno State defense holds.
Rod used the term during the first half, population to the football. It's precisely what we got to look at. All those white jerseys rallying. It looked like there was a seam there. From me down here at field level, I thought there was going to be an opportunity for Matt Miller. Excellent job swarming and tackling from Fresno State.
Trevor Hartman back to punt. 41-yard average so far this season. Rashad Evans, the senior wide receiver, is back deep for the Bulldogs. And keeping it. And then punting late. The option punts by Trevor Hartman. There's a little wrinkle to your special teams playbook there, Ron. The punt goes for 46 yards as Trevor punted there at the final possible moment.
It's something different. You're definitely seeing this throughout collegiate football, but not this much. Where he's running outside the numbers almost and then punts the ball. My question is, if he gets hit outside the pocket like that, is that roughing the kicker?
Roughing the option punter?
Right.
Well, he got it off on 44 yards. And Derek Carr, 0 points on the board going back to work. Giving it to Robbie Rouse. And Mike Atkinson had a big ball on him right away, no gain.
And we saw Boise State in the first half get a lot of pressure on Derek Carr. And one thing you can do to offset that pressure is a lot of quick throws. Yes, they did try some screens, but Boise State defensive line smelt them out. But some quicker throws on the outside, some bubble screens, some smoke screens on the outside, away from the pressure inside.
Second down 10. Carr to his left. And Fresno State picks up 4 yards. J.C. Percy makes the tackle.
With the way Fresno State operates their version of the spread offense, they're willing to attack downtown on occasion, but they run the bubbles, they run the quick slants, they run the screen plays. It's an offense that's usually willing to be patient. Boise is covering these receivers downfield.
Robbie Rouse with that reception for 4 yards, bringing up a 3rd down and 6 for Derek Carr. Broncos bring 3, spy a couple, and Derek Carr standing in and firing a strike. Davante Adams receives it, 11 yards, and that's a Fresno State 1st down.
A nice pitch and catch by Derek Carr and Adams. Adams a big receiver, 6'2", 200 pounds, and he has good hands. He can pluck that ball out of the air. David Carr has to plant his feet in the pocket and deliver that ball down the field so his receivers can make some plays for him.
Davante Adams now with 3 catches. The inside give to Robbie Rouse, and the inside for that Boise State defense there. Strong once again. Chongachu, Lawrence, Simmons, and Atkinson. No gain.
What Boise State is doing from a personnel standpoint is continuing to grow throughout the season. The experienced group they've had over the last couple of years is gone, but you still see now where they're willing to use a guy like Sam Ukuachu at basically the joker position, a la Shea McClellan like they had in the past. He's in the box on that last snap.
Boise State, not a single lineman with a hand on the ground, just walking around trying to confuse Derek Carr. He does get it off quickly. And nice moves made out wide by Rashad Evans. He picks up 7 yards.
And you look at that defensive line, you had that type, nobody with their hands on the ground. That's like an old radar defense where it's hard to figure out who you're going to block. Only 3 guys coming in on the rush. You drop 8 guys. Rashad Evans made a great individual effort to get some yardage and a short 3rd down attempt here.
There has to be a level of trust from your coaching staff to allow your defensive front to play like this. A lot of teams call it a psycho package.
Once again, not a D lineman down, but again, David Carr stands in. Previously, prior to that play, converting only 3 out of 10 3rd downs. They get 4 there and pick up a 1st down that time. Jamar Taylor with the tackle.
And Dean made the catch, and I would encourage Dean to be more aggressive when he gets the football. He gets it, and he needs to go straight up the field. Don't go back east and west, because you can almost lose the 1st down trying to make somebody miss like that.
Dean, the leading receiver for Derek Carr so far. 4 catches now for 49 yards. 1st down and 10. Fake to Rouse. And Dextrell Simmons right up in the face of Isaiah Burse. Derek Carr recognized that and just threw it away.
And I just said, how do you offset pressure by the quick screens, the bubble screens, and Boise State was ready for that bubble screen. If he'd have threw that, that was a pick 6 by Simmons. He broke the ball extremely fast.
Robbie Rouse remains the tailback. Derek Carr, 17 out of 27 right now for 146 yards. Steps up in the pocket. Finds Robbie Rouse, the 2nd leading receiver for the team coming into this game. Right at the 1st down marker, just across. Pickup of 11, and that's the 3rd 1st down on this drive.
Yeah, they can't get to they really can't get the ball to their receivers in space. So the next thing you can do is find Robbie Rouse, the 2nd leading receiver on this football team, get him out of the pocket early enough where he can start touching the football and making plays in space against those linebackers.
Robbie Rouse now has 5 receptions today. That is his average. Inside give to Rouse. Little crease there in the Boise State defense, running hard. Tommy Smith just wrapped him up at his ankles. And Rouse gets 4 yards.
4th in the nation in touches coming into this game is Robbie Rouse. And he's listed at 5'7". The coaching staff pretty much says he's more like 5'6", about 180 pounds, but they have no problem at all continuing to feed him the football as a ball carrier, and now this season with the new offense as a receiver.
He has earned the right to be labeled durable. 20 or more carries in 5 out of 6 games this year. Right now he has 16. Fake to Rouse. Carr with time off his back foot and throws it directly to Jamar Taylor. Dextrell Simmons with the interception.
And that was a poor read by Derek Carr. Isaiah Burst wide open in the slot, and he throws it right to Simmons. I mean, you got the number 3 receiver inside wide open, and he tries to fit it into Adams, and Simmons is sitting right there. That's a bad decision by Derek Carr.
Boise State defense came into this game #1 in the nation in turnovers created per game. Interception right there by Dextrell Simmons, 17-0. Wednesday night, the NBC Sports Network takes you inside the NFL's biggest stories and most critical moments. It's NFL Turning Point with Dan Patrick at a new time, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Dextrell Simmons with an interception of Derek Carr. And the Boise State defense continues to shut out the Fresno State offense, coming into this game averaging 39 points per game. Joe Southwick give to DJ Harper, penalty marker just before the play.
Card snap, false start, 68 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down. Please set the clock, 8:27, 8:27.
Joe Southwick in the first half, 7 out of 12, 68 yards, a touchdown and a pick. So one turnover created by both of these defense. They came into this game #1 and #2 in turnovers created total, with Fresno State leading the way and Boise State just one behind. Southwick with time. Geraldo Boldevine had a touchdown catch in the first half. And here early in the third quarter, hauls it in for 15 yards.
And I mean, right now, Boise State is just having their way with Fresno State. They're throwing the ball, no pressure on Joe Southwick. He's planting his feet. He's finding all his receivers wide open. He's delivering the ball where it needs to be delivered. Complete opposite of what Fresno State offense is looking like right now.
Rod, I'm struck by the fact that they're not challenging Boise's wide receivers off the line of scrimmage. Free releases almost every snap.
DJ Harper, good recognition, nothing going inside, cuts it outside, shows us that spin move once again, and picks up the Bronco first down. That's a gain of 12. Let's take a look at who had the edge, brought to you by Comcast Business Class.
Yeah, it's been the running game. The offensive line has done an outstanding job of setting the holes for these running back. DJ Harper making some plays, the power run right there. DJ Harper finds the hole, and Ajayi right here with Geronimo leading the way. These guys have done an outstanding job throughout this game of getting this running game going.
DJ Harper, good patience there and vision, finding a hole, little delayed hole off the right side. He picks up 8 yards as he is approaching a 100-yard game. He has 14 carries for 97 yards right now.
Now, I think the doubt is creeping in to Fresno State's mindset of, can we beat this team? Are we good enough to beat Boise on this blue turf?
DJ Harper bouncing it off the right side. Penalty marker comes in late. As Harper is wrestled down to the turf. Loss of 2. Tackle made by cornerback Sean Alston.
Holding, number 64 in the offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
So right now, DJ Harper has been the star for the Boise State offense. 14 carries, 97 yards. And I mentioned in the first half, Rob, that I think a real compliment paid to him by the coaching staff came after the Michigan State game, when they didn't score a touchdown. Southwick was only 15 out of 31. In the next 2 games, they gave him the ball 47 times, basically saying, we're going to figure out our passing game. In the meantime, we're going to lean on you, Mr. 6-year senior. And he responded with back-to-back 100-yard efforts. Joe Southwick trying to set up the screen that time. Wisely just fired it into the ground, and will live to play another down here.
Yeah, you see the running game get going, but yet Joe Southwick he's more comfortable in this offense. He's playing better. He's throwing the ball. He's delivering the ball. Everything that the coaching staff believed in him that he could do, he's starting to do for this football team. And that's why this offense is starting to click and starting to score a little bit more points than they did in the first couple games.
His accuracy has really jumped up after being below 50%, like we just mentioned, at Michigan State. He's either been in the 60s or the 70s in the last 4 games. 1 out of 5 converting third downs here. This is 3rd down and 12.
False start. Number 64, offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Got a call for 3rd and 17.
Yeah, you got, I mean, Myers just jumps off sides. You get a little anxious sometimes. 3rd and long, critical 3rd down for Fresno State. They need to get that ball back and make a short field for their offense.
And now the question of what does Fresno State dial up defensively? 3rd and 17. Attack mentality is what they talk.
There they go, bringing 3 extra rushers, and Geraldo Boldevine was open. Southwick forced to throw it a little bit earlier, and there you see he knows he had it open.
And I don't know if that was a double move or just a point out. He just ran by Jones. Jones didn't even move. He just set his feet right there. I think I did that one time when I'm Little League, Paul. That's not a good thing. You can't just plant your feet and not move at all thinking the quarterback is going to throw a hot.
Well, maybe Southwick thought he was going to stop and catch that. Maybe he was trying to leave it behind him. Put it in that hole there.
He didn't even look back for the ball until about 25 yards down the field. That's a little too late.
Rashad Evans catches that low offering. And right to the midfield stripe just before at the 49 yards. 31-yard punt and 11-yard return. We do have a penalty marker on the 26-yard line. Joe Southwick not happy. Talking to Robert Prince, the offensive coordinator, up here in the booth. Chris Peterson learning about the penalty marker there at the 26-yard line. Goes against Fresno State holding.
Holding before the kick.
Penalties a real issue for Fresno State in the first half as the Bulldogs had 7. Boise State only had 1. They now have 4 after an active penalty third quarter
Holding.
for them.
Number 87 of the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 4th down.
Tim DeRuyter, 22 seasons as a defensive assistant in college football, including 16 as a defensive coordinator. Most recently, the last 2 at Texas A&M. His first head coaching spot this season at Fresno State.
In and of itself, that holding penalty is a small thing, but a part of a larger problem. Great field position there off the return from Evans, but now he has to return it again off the penalty.
So the Bulldogs would have had it at their own 49-yard line. And another low punt. And another nice job by the Boise State special teams. 34-yard punts. 0 yards on the return. It's 17-0 in the third. College football on the NBC Sports Network is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. And by Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. On the blue turf here, Derek Carr finding it awfully difficult to find the end zone. In fact, hasn't done so yet. 6:16 left in the third quarter. Boise State leading 17-0. Derek Carr to Rashad Evans. Can't quite hold on. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. Fresno State has had 8 possessions offensively in this game. You go back to the last 2 games against Boise State when they've lost by a combined total of 108-7. The last 35 possessions for Fresno State against Boise State, 0 touchdowns. Robbie Rouse, the tailback, to the left of Derek Carr. Rouse with the football around the right side. Nice job of keeping his balance. Football came out. Going to have to question, was he down? It goes out of bounds anyway. That's a gain of 13.
Yeah, they didn't recover the ball, but the point would be mute if he did fumble it. But I thought he was down before the ball came out. Outstanding play by Robbie Rouse. Yeah, he was down.
He was down. Interesting, though, that Rouse has had a bit of a fumbling issue recently. A couple of fumbles at San Diego State, also one in the last game. Prior to that, 773 touches with only losing one fumble. Devontae Adams hauls in a quick strike from Derek Carr. Gain of 8.
Fresno State hasn't been able to get the tempo going yet in this season's new offense. As far as really getting a jet tempo like their coaching staff would prefer, I think you have to force the issue, though, as this second half moves forward.
Second down 3, 49-yard line. Robbie Rouse stacked up there right as he reached the line of scrimmage. Ricky Chongachu was there. Gain of 2. Tim DeRuyter going to watch his offense face yet another third down situation. Third down not been kind to Fresno State so far. 4 out of 11 at this point in the game. Third down and 2, much more manageable than the third down and 9s and third down and 12s we've seen for Derek Carr so far. There's Rouse, just enough for a first down. DeMarcus Lawrence there to make the tackle. So too is Jeremy Ioane. Gain of 3 on 3rd and 2.
Yeah, just an inside dive play to Robbie Rouse, and he finds a crease, makes that first down. See that forward lean? It's very rare that you'll see Robbie Rouse go backwards.
Rouse again. There's one of those cuts we were told about. Jeremy Ioane makes the tackle. Rouse loses his helmet. By rule, he'll have to miss a play. He does pick up 9.
And I really would like to see Fresno State take a shot down the field to one of their big play receivers, Adams, Burris, or even Evans.
Rouse now with 20 carries already, 4:29 left in the third quarter. Rouse off because he lost his helmet on the play. This is Martese Waller, no gain. Jeremy Horn there to make the tackle.
Rouse comes back in. He's a playmaker. If he has to play every snap, one thing the coach has said, he will play every snap for this game.
20 carries in this game, now 20 carries or more in 18 of his last 20 games. Third down and a long one. Coming right back to Rouse. Was his face mask grabbed? Yes, it was.
Grabbed. His whole head is turned sideways.
His helmet's on backwards now. Gain of 3. And a penalty against Boise State to follow.
And luckily he didn't hurt his neck.
Fresno face mask, number 95 defense, 15-yard penalty and first down.
Well, that same little dive play right there, but you see Kuntz, I mean, he turns his whole helmet around. The face mask is backwards when he gets on the ground. But it doesn't stop him. That's one thing I love about that guy. He's a fighter.
Derek Carr, the Bulldogs now inside the red zone for the second time today. First trip ended with a missed field goal. Robbie Rouse continues to be the workhorse on this drive. Nice job by Dextrell Simmons, the nickelback, coming up to make that tackle. It's a gain of 1. Well, the numbers told us coming into this game that Boise State had the best defense in the Mountain West Conference. 15 points per game. That's more than a touchdown better than the second scoring defense, which is Fresno State's. And they certainly looked the part on the field today. Still a shutout, 3:15 left in the third quarter. Fresno State knocking on the scoring door, though, second down and 9. Derek Carr again flushed out to his right. And that's been a staple, an unfortunate staple for the Bulldog offense so far. Flushed out and just throwing it away.
But he got flushed out when he didn't have to be flushed out. I mean, the offensive line did a really good job of protecting him. He felt that he had pressure. There really was no pressure, and he comes out of there. Nobody really throw the ball to, but if he stays in the pocket, he has more of the field to work with.
We saw that in the first half, too. Throwing off his back foot, rushing out maybe at times when he could have hung in for another moment or two.
He's very antsy. Yes, they've had pressure on him, but you still have to believe in your offensive line to protect you down the stretch.
11th play of this drive on 3rd down and 9. Boise State rushes 3 and applies the pressure and takes him down with 3. DeMarcus Lawrence with the sack. Loss of 4.
How you get pressure with a 3-man, can't even call it rush, but a 3-man guys coming at your quarterback. You got 5 guys protecting him, and they can't protect their quarterback.
Mike Atkinson coming in late with the hit. DeMarcus Lawrence wrapped him up. The 2nd sack today, the leading sacker for this team, for the Boise State team coming in. Quentin Brashears missed from 27 earlier. This is from 39 yards out. Go ahead and remove that 0 from the Fresno State side of the scoreboard. 3 points. Tim DeRuyter's squad now trailing by 2 touchdowns. Boise State on top 17-3. Over the next 2 weeks, don't miss a special event here on the NBC Sports Network. Relive all the moments and magic from the Olympic Games with Return to London. It all begins Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, only here on the NBC Sports Network. Fresno State on the board. Quentin Brashears' 39-yard field goal. 12 plays, 49 yards. Blue turf, lots of orange in the stands here inside Bronco Stadium. Perfect October afternoon. Temperature in the high 60s. You can wear what you want when your team has won 39 in the last 40 games on this field, right? It all works. DJ Harper back to receive. DJ already with 14 carries for 97 yards from 4 yards deep. Here he comes. Harper out to the 19-yard line. Tackle made by backup cornerback Bo Fryer. .205 left in the 3rd quarter. Joe Southwick and the Bronco offense coming back on the field, leading by 14. (17-3) Boise State on top. We look at the numbers, 1 turnover apiece. So the 2 defenses creating the most turnovers in the nation. Kind of an even battle there. Total yards only a 17-yard difference. The real difference comes in the running game, where the Broncos have gained 126 and the Bulldogs only 68. So a lot of credit has to go to the Boise State offensive line.
They've done a wonderful job today opening those holes up.
Freshman Jay Ajayi, the backup to DJ Harper. Excellent job at cutting it back not once, but twice. Patrick Sua eventually with the tackle, but Ajayi goes for 9.
Yeah, great vision. Looks like the small back in Robbie Rouse, but 6 foot, 220 pounds, that has great vision, great cuts in the open field. You can't bring him down with an arm tackle. Ajayi, a big guy, can make big plays in space. Been a nice compliment to the 6th-year senior DJ Harper. 8 carries, 39 yards. Ajayi remains in the game now on 2nd down 1. Duranimal's in. That's your fullback, right? That's the fullback. That's Ajayi putting his head down, but the Boise State or the Fresno State defense there. Philip Thomas up from his safety position to make the tackle. No gain. Philip Thomas leads the nation in interceptions, and what a luxury for him to have as his position coach Tim McDonald, who played with you in the National Football League. Yeah, Timmy, USC, 49ers, you know, Arizona Cardinals. And one thing he said about Thomas is that he's a playmaker. He has that it factor. I mean, you talk about, you know, the Ed Reeds of the National Football League. This guy has that it factor. He understands the game. You can give him a lot of information. He can take it all in. He just knows how to play football, and he can play it in space so well. I talked to Tim McDonald to practice last week, and when he described him, he just kept coming back to the kind of instincts he had as a safety. Didn't rave about him anyway physically, just said this is a guy who understands it. He recognizes routes. He recognizes play fakes. He's just got a feel for not only where he's supposed to be on the field, but where everybody else is supposed to be as well. Well, that's what makes him so good. And that's the same thing you can say about Ed Reed. Ed Reed doesn't have these physical characteristics that are so wonderful, but the guy just understands. He's very cerebral the way he looks at the game. And the same thing can be said about Philip Thomas, is this guy looks at the game differently than most players at his age. Appreciates the opportunity too, also after breaking his ankle 3 days before the season started last year in practice.
Jay Ajayi was the tailback. They didn't need the tailback for that piece of the run game. The quarterback sneak. Joe Southwick picks up a first down. Southwick, pretty quiet day. 8 out of 15, 83 yards. He did throw a perfect pass on a difficult route to Geraldo Boldevine early in the game for a touchdown strike. He has the one interception. This is the kind of game we've been seeing from the fourth-year junior. Jay Ajayi, the tailback, on 1st and 10. Ajayi up the middle is stuffed. Tyler Davison. Nick Toth, defensive coordinator, yesterday telling us this is a player we'll eventually see playing on Sundays. That kind of body, that kind of ability, no gain right there.
As we talked about in the first half, Fresno State finally getting back to moving their defensive front a little bit more. I spoke to Tyler Davison before the game. He says he really feels like this year's defensive scheme suits his skill set more so than what they did last year where he was just a block eater.
That's going to do it for the third quarter. Boise State on top, 17-3. That defense ranked #1 in the Mountain West Conference in scoring and yards. Looking the part here today. DJ Harper knocking on the door, 100 yards. And the Broncos winning again at home. We head to the fourth. Boise State leading 17-3. Boise State very comfortable here on the blue turf. They've won 39 of the last 40, and right now beating Fresno State heading into the fourth quarter 17-3. And offensively, not sexy for this game right now, but Joe Southwick doing a nice job with efficiency, avoiding negative plays up against a defense that leads the nation in turnovers created. He only has 1. Also leads the conference in sacks. He's only taken 1 sack. So not a lot of big plays, but he is avoiding negative plays. Jay Ajayi avoiding the tackle and sprinting down the left side. The freshman out of Plano, Texas, appeared to be down right away, kept his feet, showed a little burst. He gains 24, tackle made by Deron Smith.
Yeah, that's a 6 foot, 220 pounds of muscle fighting through the tacklers. Nobody can get the ball. Everybody's trying to strip it out, and he makes a big play for his football team.
What I like about this carry is the fact that he does initially press the hole. He's just trying to bury it up in there in the A-gap, and then once he pops loose, he's got the speed. 71 yards is the season long for Ajayi so far.
Had that in the touchdown run at New Mexico. Joe Southwick looking deep to Dallas Burrows. Little underthrown. Was there early contact? Yes, there was. Penalty marker comes in. Sean Alston with some early contact on Dallas Burrows.
I agree with that one on the first half. Maybe not the pass interference, but in that one, he did panic. Can't touch the guy early.
Sometimes as a quarterback, you're fortunate to underthrow it. I mean, if that ball is thrown in stride, the coverage is there.
It really is. And just like I thought that Fresno State offense needs to take some shots coming out. Now Boise's taking some shots down the field because they're cornerbacks are really pressing against their receivers, and he said, you got to back up a little bit.
Tim DeRuyter saying that ball was uncatchable.
There's no...
So Tim DeRuyter was correct.
Now, I haven't heard that one called in quite a long time, Paul.
The uncatchable football?
The uncatchable football.
Huh.
It looked like it was catchable to me. It landed right at his feet.
If Sean Alston wasn't draped all over him, it would have been catchable.
I thought maybe they were saying that the ball landed out of bounds, but that ball landed inbounds.
No, that landed right at their feet.
Back to the ground game. Jay Ajayi, 2 consecutive carries for him, end up in a first down. We do have a penalty marker near the 40-yard line. My official in the booth here, Ron Woodson, was showing me holding.
That's holding against Boise State. That's coming back.
Those glasses are treating you well.
Yes, they are. Oh, thank you.
Holding, number 34 offense. 10-yard penalty.
I don't think these fans like the last 2 calls. This one, I agree. The last one, the pass interference, that was a bad call.
A couple of calls working against Fresno State earlier, especially one of their 2 late hits on the quarterback. Had an interception called back because of that late hit. Jay Ajayi remains the tailback here. Southwick stepping up. Finding his tight end, Chandler Koch. Tight ends for Boise State quiet here this season. Only 7 total catches coming into this game, now 8. But that's an 11-yard gain for a first down tackle made by L.J. Jones.
A big third down for Fresno State. They need to get the ball back early in the fourth quarter for their offense. They need to get, they're in the game. If they can get back on the scoreboard for a touchdown, this will be the game we thought it was going to be, Paul.
A huge third down here. I mean, it feels like Boise State really in control, but only a 2-touchdown lead. See if the Bulldog defense can hold here on 3rd down and 5. Philip Thomas coming late from the safety position, and he eventually got there, forced Joe Southwick to step up and throw it awkwardly and also inaccurately. And it'll be 4th and 5.
Freshman tailback in the backfield, Jay Ajayi. That's part of the learning process where it looked like he evacuated the backfield a little bit too soon. Should have hung back there with his quarterback as a safety valve for protectional purposes.
Maybe he didn't expect Philip Thomas to come from 15 yards deep.
He came late, and if he didn't threw that ball on the money, Smith would have intercepted that.
This is 4th down and 5.
A quick kick.
This could be the quick kick from Joe Southwick.
There we go. Backs up. Punting position here on 4th and 5. And there is the pooch kick. Takes a Fresno State bounce there back toward the 20-yard line. Chandler Koch picked it up at the 19. Trailing by 14 with 13-18 left. Derek Carr and the Bulldog offense coming back onto the field, trying to get back in this one. 17-3. Fresno State quarterback Derek Carr leads the Mountain West Conference in passing yards, but Anthony only a $164 right now.
Paul, I love talking about the 2 ways you pressure a quarterback, either physically or mentally. He's been under physical pressure throughout the season so far, and this Broncos defense, they've messed up the throwing mechanics from Derek Carr, having the mental pressure applied as well. This is a big situation in this game. If they get a score, they're right back in it.
They've only sacked him twice, but they've affected him seemingly every time he's dropped back. Affecting the run game there. In right away was Kuntz. He didn't make the tackle, but he set it up for a loss of 1. Tyler Horn finished off Rouse.
I just don't think...
Go ahead, Anthony.
I just don't think this is going to get it done today, guys. I mean, Robbie Rouse, if you're going to get him the football, get it to him out in space. Move the pocket. Different launch points. Be more creative, more aggressive.
Robbie Rouse with 23 carries so far. That's carry number 24. And he is wrestled down by the senior linebacker, J.C. Percy. Loss of 1. He knows how to do that. He was a state champion wrestler at Blackfoot High School here at Blackfoot, Idaho.
And I agree with Anthony. I would like to see Robbie Rouse sitting outside in space, lined up against a linebacker, and be able to use that athletic ability that he has with some receptions.
3rd down, 11. Here comes 5. Carr out to his right, throwing back across his body to Victor Dean. And he is unable to break the tackle of Brian Douglas. Gain of 10, but he needed 11.
If we don't know anything else about Derek Carr today, we know he can throw on the run. The problem is, it hasn't been a pre-called run. They haven't been rolling the pocket pre-snap. It's not by their volition. It's because he's trying to avoid the pass rush. I'd love to see them getting him out of the pocket because they do talk about the athleticism that their junior quarterback possesses.
Yeah, and Victor Dean had an opportunity to make the first down, but he catches the ball, and then he looks for defenders, and then he goes. Once he catches it, if he goes vertical, he gets the first down.
Chris Potter back deep to receive. Doesn't have a chance as that one lands out of bounds. Next week, College Football Saturday kicks off at 12 o'clock Eastern with an Ivy League clash between Penn and Yale. Then at 3:30 Eastern, UNLV faces Boise State right back here at Bronco Stadium. College Football Saturday on the NBC Sports Network. 17-yard punt, allowing Boise State to begin on the Fresno State 45-yard line. Joe Southwick will have DJ Harper behind him. DJ's right now 14 carries for 97 yards. Harper now over the 100-yard mark, puts his head down and runs over Philip Thomas. The second leading tackler on this team. He picks up 9 yards.
And this is what they need to do right now to make the game a shorter game. Run the football effectively. They've done it in the first half. This offensive line has done a tremendous job, and DJ Harper in space. It's hard to bring that guy down on initial contact.
DJ Harper granted a 6th year of eligibility back in January. Torn ACL in the 3rd game of the season in 2009 and 2010. Southwick, good job of throwing on the run. That's Holden Huff, freshman tight end, picking up 11 yards. Philip Thomas again making the tackle.
The first bootleg in the game for either team. I think that caught the the Fresno State Bulldogs defense off guard because he had pressure coming up the middle, but he brought that play fake outside and found the wide open tight end.
We now have Southwick over 100 yards passing, 10 for 19, 106, and DJ Harper over 100 yards rushing, 15 carries for 106. Play fake to Harper, flipping it out wide. Shane Williams-Rhodes, the freshman, for the freshman tight end Holden Huff. Pulls in a pass from Joe Southwick on the right side. To the left side goes Williams-Rhodes for 7.
When you threaten the defense more horizontally than you do vertically, it puts a lot of pressure on the other wide receivers like Kirby Moore to block out in space. And Boise State, probably as well as any team in the country, does that with guys like Kirby Moore, Matt Miller. They're willing to give themselves up for their teammates.
2nd down 3. DJ Harper, the tailback. Dan Paul in at fullback. Here's Harper. Wrestled down from the backside. That's a gain of 1.
And Robert Prince, the offensive coordinator for Boise State this drive, has done a tremendous job of really mixing it up against this Fresno State defense and giving them pass when it's a run. And when they're thinking it's a run, he's giving them the pass.
Thinking run right here. There's Robert Prince, the first-year offensive coordinator for Boise State on 3rd down and 2. This is the end around to Shane Williams-Rhodes. Right to the 10-yard line. The reverse to the freshman for 6 and a Bronco first down.
When Shane Williams-Rhodes comes onto the football field, the playbook is extremely condensed. He's a young football player, but he's got some afterburners in those tiny legs. So even if the defense knows what's coming, he's still able to beat them to the edge.
Yeah. End around from his wide receiver position.
AKA SWR or shake and bake, they call it.
Either way it works. Boise State offense working. This is DJ Harper, and that's Philip Thomas standing in right up. Didn't do so until he was inside the 5-yard line. Harper gets 7 yards.
We've seen 2 offenses throughout the game today that have been forced to be patient by the opposing defense, and where Boise's had the edge is because their offensive line has been able to execute not just at the first level, but at the 2nd level of Fresno State's defense.
And Fresno State defense has played extremely well all game. It's their offense that cannot move the ball and keep this defense on the field.
Harper now with his 3rd 100-yard rushing game this season. Play action, Southwick peels back to his left. Could have kept it, but fires to the end zone. Touchdown, Chandler Koch. We do have a penalty marker down.
He went out of bounds. Came back in on his own. That's going to be illegal touching.
Illegal touching. Number 88, the offense. He went out of bounds. It was a first touch pass, inbounds. That is a loss of down. 3rd down.
You've been right on with your calls the second half, Ron.
My glasses right now, Paul, are working. They are working.
And quick calls, too. Not just accurate, but quick.
Yeah, back in the end zone right there. He steps out of bounds on his own. If he's forced out, he can come back in and be the first to touch it. But since you step out on your own, you can't be the first to come back in and touch the football.
Looks like Joe Southwick had a chance, if he wanted to hang on to that and keep it. Hard to pass up a wide open receiver.
That's a touchdown pass he wanted.
Chris Potter in the backfield.
Chris Potter with the option pitch inside. And Shane Williams-Rhodes trying to reach that football out. You saw it emerge from the pile. We mentioned in the first half, Chris Potter making a start here for Mitch Burrows. He's out with a wrist injury. Potter played backup quarterback to Jimmy Clausen in high school. Going to be 4th down and 1.
The role of Chris Potter in this offense has to increase now with Mitch Burrows out with a wrist injury. He's the versatile guy. We've seen him play Wildcat. He's even played a little bit of tailback for him at different points.
So that's short. 4th down and less than a yard, but a field goal makes it a 3-possession game.
You do the smart thing. You kick the ball and put some points on the board.
They were in a similar situation in the first half. Went with a 19-yard field goal from Michael Fresno.
But I like that last play because it had an option for the shuffle pass, and you had an option to pitch it to the outside. Creative play by Robert Prince.
This would be his second 19-yard field goal of the game. Michael Fresno now 7 out of 7 this season on field goal attempts from 29 yards or less. And it's a 3-possession lead for Chris Peterson's Broncos. 20-3, 7:31 left. Let's take a look at our game reset, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. DJ Harper for the 3rd time this season, over 100 yards as the Broncos are out rushing the Bulldogs right now by 121 yards. Take your eyes down to the penalties. Not a huge difference, but 2 late hits to the quarterback in the first half were huge. 1 nullified an interception and also led the Bronco points. Fresno State offense will begin from its own 25-yard line. 7:31 left and trailing 20-3. Blue and orange on the field and also in the stands. Nice mohawk. The standard has been set incredibly high here at Boise State, led by Chris Peterson. In each of the last 4 seasons, the Broncos have either won every game or lost only one time. And we were here in August, Rod, and he told us, I'm not going to lower the standards just because we lost more starters than any team in the country. And it's early, and they're winning in a different way. But the bottom line, the Broncos are still winning.
You're winning with your defense, and each year you have to learn to win a different way, and they've done that.
4-game winning streak, 4-1 after losing opening week at Michigan State. Defense on the field right now, giving Derek Carr a hard time, forcing him to dump off underneath to his tailback, Robbie Rouse. Tommy Smith, the linebacker, made the tackle. That's a gain of 6.
Yeah, this is Fresno State's 11th possession, and only twice have they started past the 25-yard line.
Going back to the last 2 games, 38 consecutive possessions. Fresno State against Boise State without scoring an offensive touchdown. Carr with a completion to Victor Dean. Jamar Taylor makes the tackle after a gain of 3.
And I'm just surprised because this is a big play offense, and I haven't seen any real shots down the field against these Boise State corners.
3rd down and 2 are coming. Boise State rushes only 3. And again, they get to Carr. And again, they drop him. Football comes out. Mike Atkinson pounces on it. DeMarcus Lawrence comes up with another sack.
We had a great look at both versions of pressure. The mental pressure forcing quarterback Derek Carr to hold the football. And then it doesn't take too long because the tenacity of DeMarcus Lawrence brings the physical pressure. And he wanted that football. The big former fullback Mike Atkinson just pounces on it. But it's almost like Derek Carr is seeing ghosts down here on the field because the way he's holding the football, you can see the element of confusion in his eyes.
DeMarcus Lawrence, great sack there. His 3rd sack of the day, now has 6.5 on the season. DJ Harper off the left side. Even when he's not rushing for big yardage, he's getting nice gains. That's a gain of 6, and any offensive coordinator would love to have 2nd down 4.
Yeah, it opens up the playbook when you have 2nd and 4 compared to 2nd and 10.
Injured Bulldog on the field. Trying to get a look at his number. Patrick Sua. He's a linebacker for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the heart of the linebacking core.
6'1" junior out of Highland High School in Bakersfield, California.
Tim DeRuyter was quick to point out Patrick Sua as a guy who quickly stepped forward as a leader in the coaching transition of Fresno State.
Patrick Sua, the junior linebacker, the injured Bulldog on the field. We're back right after this. Joe Southwick has a touchdown pass. It came in the first half to Geraldo Boldevine. DJ Harper has a touchdown run. Michael Fresina, a pair of 19-yard field goals, and the defense for Boise State has been outstanding. No touchdowns so far for Fresno State, just a field goal. And the Broncos, with 6:22 left in the game, up 20-3.
And I thought this was going to be the best, and this is the best offense they faced to date. But this Boise State defense is better than advertised. This is a good football team. And I think DeMarcus Lawrence name, I said they had no stars, they had no studs. Well, I think they have a stud. I think they have a star in DeMarcus Lawrence.
3 sacks and one that led to a recovered fumble moments ago from Mike Atkinson for DeMarcus Lawrence. Play action to the right, Joe Southwick. Would have been a heck of a catch for Chris Potter. Out of bounds. Joe Southwick, 12 out of 23 now for the day, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Southwick just went off the field.
So there's going to be some type of creative play coming here.
His backup quarterback is number 9, Grant Hedrick.
He's a read option guy.
And there is the read option and the pitch to DJ Harper. And there's Phillip Thomas with an excellent tackle from his safety position. Loss of 4.
Yeah, Phillip Thomas, he's a playmaker. He can make tackles, he can blitz, but he can tackle in space.
Grant Hedrick's an interesting story. Out of Independence, Oregon, this is the 2nd year in a row where he's virtually just come in to run the read option on occasion for Boise State's offense. Just kind of calls into question, is he more than that? In high school, he's a guy who threw for 3,000 yards and rushed for 1,000 yards in the same season multiple times in his career. You wonder about that future of the quarterback position.
Michael Fresina, we mentioned he's 7 for 7 inside of 29 yards. That's from 37 yards out. He misses. He's now 1 for 5 this season on attempts from 30 yards or more. Chris Peterson doesn't like that, but he's got to love what his defense is doing. Fresno State coming into this game, 39.5 points per game, only 3 today. So as you said, Rob, this Boise State defense better than advertised. Came in advertised as the #1 scoring defense in the Mountain West Conference, looking even better on the blue turf today.
Yeah, and I know that their defensive backs and Gavins and Taylor and Douglas, they heard all week how good these receivers were. They have got up in their faces, and they have not given them room to throw the football.
Defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski right there. We saw him on the screen as we see Derek Carr dumping it off to Robbie Rouse. A good cutback in a burst. Bulldog first down after a gain of 14. Tackle made by the cornerback Jarrell Gavins.
And their tempo has to be more like a 2-minute tempo now. I mean, they have to get some points on the board and get the ball back.
Derek Carr fires incomplete to Isaiah Burst. Penalty marker down.
False start. Offense, all 11 players do not get set after they're ready for play. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Fresno State now with 9 penalties for 85 yards.
There's quite often where you'll see games where a quarterback isn't throwing the deep ball, even though receivers are running deep routes, but the route tree for Fresno State today doesn't even give Derek Carr the opportunity for the most part to throw the ball deep downfield.
Delayed draw, and there is Coots there to make the tackle. Darren Coots makes the stop on Rouse after a gain of 1.
Certainly got to give credit to Jeremy Ioane. He's done a great job playing center field so far for Boise State. 4th and 4. 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 4
Derek Carr with a pocket to stand and fire to his freshman out of Palo Alto, California, Devontae Adams. Jamar Taylor there with the coverage. J.C. Percy coming in late, and that's a gain of 11.
Coming into this game, this offense extremely explosive. That game against Colorado, 2 separate plays over 90 yards, another play that went for 60 yards. I mean, they've made the big play this season.
Derek Carr underneath to Isaiah Burst. J.C. Percy there initially. Jamar Taylor there to finish him off, gain of 9. Derek Carr came into this game 18 touchdown passes, easily leading the Mountain West Conference. Number 2 in the nation to Geno Smith. But as you can see by the score, 0 TD tosses today. There's a pocket and dumps it off wisely underneath to Robbie Rouse. He has a Fresno State first down. Run out of bounds by Jeremy Ioane after he picked up 20 yards.
And that's the type of plays you want to see Robbie Rouse get, because he is a playmaker in space. You want to get him out of the backfield. Yes, he needs to be back there because of the pressure from the defensive line, but get him in space and let him work against those linebackers.
Bulldog offense now on the move. Rouse 5 or 8 catches. The leading receiver for the Bulldogs with 8 for 67 yards. Derek Carr looking for Isaiah Burst. Came back and got it. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. First down, Bulldogs inside the 5. Isaiah Burst going up and getting it. Coming down inbounds for 25 yards.
And that's only the second pass down the field that they've thrown all day. And each time, Adam came down with 1, and now Burst came down with 1. You got to give your guys opportunities to make big plays against a defense that's trying to smother your receivers.
First and goal from the 4-yard line. Carr looking out wide to Devontae Adams. Had it for a second. Couldn't come down with it. Ryan Douglas with the coverage.
That was a long throw. That ball didn't look good from up here. The receiver had a great vertical on Adams and almost made that a spectacular catch, but Douglas fought for the ball and knocked it out the last second.
Good effort there late by Douglas. Battling that one away from the 6'3" freshman Adams. Carr to his left with a shovel pass inside to Robbie Rouse. Sam Ukuachu not fooled, and there to make the tackle. No gain.
Love the way Sam Ukuachu plays the game of football. He's a youngster. He's a freshman. He's only 220 pounds. He's not as far along as a football player as DeMarcus Lawrence, but he plays with a tenacity.
Coming off a big game against Southern Miss. Forced fumble recovery, and 1.5 sacks. Last week, good job of sniffing out the shovel pass there for no gain.
And this is 2-down territory. They got to go for it.
3rd down and 4. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. This time he hangs on. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
And every single time throughout the day, it's only been 3 times that we've seen the receiver have a jump ball with the DB. The receiver has won. That's why I'm surprised they haven't gone down the field more in this game, giving those receivers opportunities to make plays against these DBs.
And Rod, it's been a big part of their offense so far, so I completely agree with you. I'm a little bit surprised that there haven't been more chances taken, especially once Boise was up 2 scores.
Devontae Adams now with 6 catches. He has at least 4 in every single game this season. Using that 6'2" frame to go up and over the 5'9" Brian Douglas for the first Fresno State touchdown of the game. Coming up next, college hockey continues on the NBC Sports Network as Notre Dame takes on the University of Nebraska-Omaha in the 2012 Icebreaker Tournament Final. The puck drops next right here on the NBC Sports Network. Rod, as you mentioned, Chris Peterson watching the Fresno State offense take a couple shots downfield, whereas up to this point it's been Derek Carr with the short passes and also being run out of the pocket, throwing it away.
But you have 2 5'9" corners. You have a 5'11" corner. Then you have your receivers are all over 6 foot. You gotta give them opportunities down the field. I don't know if that was their game plan, but in the 3 plays they took shots down the field, the receivers come up with the football.
Dallas Burrows back deep to receive for Boise State. If they are thinking onside kick, and with 2:15 left, They have to be 0 for 1 recovering onside kick this season. Derek Carr now 29 out of 43, 266, a touchdown and a pick. And here comes the onside attempt from Fresno State. Ball just goes out of bounds. And that'll make it easy on Boise State. So Tim DeRuyter has watched an efficient attack here from Boise State so far. Joe Southwick, not big numbers, but only taken 1 sack, only thrown 1 interception against Tim DeRuyter's defense that leads this conference in sacks and also turnovers created, leading the nation in turnovers created, only coming up with 1 today. The star has been DJ Harper, the 6th-year senior tailback for the Broncos, 19 carries, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. Good compliment from Jay Ajayi. The freshman running back has 12 carries for 67 yards. The tailback behind Southwick now is DJ Harper. Donovan Lewis in to make the tackle. After a gain of 2, timeout called by Fresno State. Running game has been the difference for Boise State. Fresno State has rushed for only 56 yards. Rob, the Broncos have gone for a $192.
Yeah, and Anthony gave a nickname of Thunder and Lightning, and you got a back that could definitely take it the distance. And then you look at Ajayi, the big physical back. That must be the Thunder, because the Lightning and DJ Harper, they both can make big plays for the football team. And this is the running game that Robert Prince said they need to have to take the pressure off of Joe Southwick.
DJ Harper and Jay Ajayi combining for 32 carries and 185 yards.
One of the things that Jay Ajayi has learned early in his career so far, and he's learned it just recently, is that you have to practice great if you're going to step on the field for the Boise State Broncos. Chris Peterson and his staff, they've ran that point home, and it's led to him playing at a very high level.
While DJ Harper takes a break on the sideline, Ajayi is the tailback. He has the football. Putting the head down, picking up some extra yardage. Tackle finally made by Deron Smith, but Ajayi with some nice hard running picks up a Bronco first down with a gain of 12.
And you want a guy this size to be willing to run angry. It's one of those things where you got a bigger guy and maybe they try to be a little more finesse at times because he's a very gifted athlete, but you want the defenders to fear you. You're going to punish them when you're carrying the football.
You mentioned he almost played last year as a true freshman after rushing for over 2,200 yards and 35 touchdowns at Frisco Liberty High School in Plano, Texas. Today he has 13 carries for 79 yards. There's his 14th carry. Tyler Davison there to make the tackle as Ajayi picks up 4 yards.
And Fresno State knows that Boise State's going to run the football. They got 8, 9 guys in the box. And if you can run against that, that's really taking your will and putting it against the opposing defense, saying you cannot stop us even when you put 9 in the box.
Sunday night is football night. Don't miss America's Game of the Week. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers traveling to Houston to take on Arian Foster, J.J. Watt, and the Houston Texans. Should be a great one tomorrow night. Bob Costas hosts Football Night in America live from Houston. Coverage begins 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on NBC. And I think I recall you saying in the production meeting that you see Houston winning by double digits.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game, but double-digit win for Houston.
That would keep them undefeated on the season. DJ Harper now back in the game. Fresno State has 1 timeout left. They just used it as Harper picks up 2 yards.
And guys, it's safe to assume Chris Peterson isn't going to go there with me when I ask him about it after the game. But this is a game where you got 2 teams who are 2 of the favorites in the Mountain West Conference coming in. Boise State, the preseason favorite. Fresno State picked as the number 3 team. And they got off to a hot enough start here where this is a game that now puts Boise in the driver's seat with this game advantage over Fresno, where they might be able to be in the driver's seat here to win the conference championship.
If it continues this way in the final 125, Tim DeRuyter's Fresno State Bulldogs would fall 4-3, while Chris Peterson's Boise State Broncos would have the 5th consecutive win of the season. Here's what they have coming up. We'll be right back here next week, Rod, as the Broncos play host to UNLV.
The Running Rebels.
Joe Southwick, 12 out of 23, 114 yards passing. Done a lot of that today, which is handoff to his tailbacks. That's Jay Ajayi running for another Boise State first down. Gain of 9 yards. Donovan Lewis, the outside linebacker, makes the tackle. But Ajayi now approaching 100 yards. He has 91, and DJ Harper has 122.
Yeah, and I said it early, and I've said it about 3 times during the game. This is what Chris Peterson, this is what Robert Prince wants. They need a running game to get going, to take all the pressure off of Joe Southwick in that passing game. Joe played a lot better today, but this running game looked great, and offensive line has to be given a lot of credit throughout the game.
He also needed his defense to step up, and all the credit in the world to Boise State defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski for the effort and production put forth today. Fresno State only 10 points. They came into this game averaging 39.5. Bronco defense forces 2 turnovers, holds Fresno State to only 56 yards rushing.
Yeah, to their 219 yards, Paul. That's outstanding.
Most importantly, only 10 points. There's DJ Harper after a 21 carry, 122 yard and 1 touchdown day. Chris Peterson got to be proud of his quarterback for the way he managed the game. And most proud of a defense that held Fresno State, Derek Carr, to only 10 points. Joe Southwick, a touchdown pass early on to Geraldo Boldevine. It's all they needed out of the passing game, with Jay Ajayi going for 91 yards and DJ Harper going for 122.
Yeah, and we knew Joe Southwick could play against bad defenses, but could he play against a good defense? And I believe that this Fresno State defense is good, and he played solid for this football team.
I'd say good as well. Led the nation in turnovers created at 18 coming into this game. Led the Mountain West Conference in sacks with 20. He only took 1 sack, which is a key part of this game. They also have the top 3rd down defense in the conference. So they're the 2 quarterbacks, Derek Carr and Joe Southwick, embracing after the game, which Joe Southwick wasn't asked to do as much as Derek Carr, but did a nice job of what they did ask him to do. A strong running game and excellent defense, carrying the Broncos to a 20-10 win. Chris Peterson on the field with our own Anthony Herron.
Chris, not a thing of beauty, as you might know, on the offensive side of the football, but your team continuing to find ways to win. How are you guys continuing to grow like this?
Well, Fresno's a good football team. You know, one of the things I've been most impressed with them is how they're playing on defense. And we knew it'd be tough sledding. We made things a little bit hard on ourselves there at the end on offense. But, you know, a lot of credit, respect for Fresno State.
You ask a lot of your quarterback with the way you operate on the offensive side of the football. Have you continued to see strides from Joe Southwick?
Yeah, we do a lot with him, a lot more than a fan would know. There's a lot of checks going on, and he's done a nice job, and I think we continue to make progress.
Defensively, a lot of young guys, all the talent you lost from last season, but they continue to make plays. How impressed have you been with their effort?
We're really pleased with our defense. I mean, those guys play hard. It's tough sledding, moving the ball on us, and you know, I think those guys are getting better and better every week as well.
Thanks a lot, Coach. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Paul?
Anthony, Coach, thank you very much. Chris Peterson now 78-7 here as the head coach at Boise State. The Broncos have won 40 of their last 41 games on the blue turf. Led by the defense today, Rod Woodson. They give up only 10 points. DeMarcus Lawrence with 3 sacks.
Yeah, I said they didn't have stars. They didn't have a stud, but I think a rising star, DeMarcus Lawrence, can get after the quarterback. He has a high motor. He's very athletic. But he really put pressure on Derek Carr throughout the whole game. Single block, you cannot do that with him. He has too much speed. He understands the game, and you're not getting away from him once he gets his hands on you if you're a quarterback. He's done an outstanding job today, getting the pressure on Derek Carr, making him uncomfortable, doing the things he didn't do throughout the whole year.
Good job by Mr. Opportunistic on defense, Mike Atkinson. He had the pick 6 against BYU, recovered the big fumble here today. The Broncos win 20-10. Stay tuned, back for more college football right after this.